All right, we've never been more back. I realized I look dead when I just first popped up on screen, but that's just, I have resting dead face. Hey, everybody. Hey, someone said, I don't know what topic he's going to talk about, but there's literally so many YouTubers right now that react to AI videos to gain views. Don't worry. This is not going to be a stream of me pulling up obviously fake content and going like, oh my gosh, you guys, I can't believe this. Is this real? This is a slightly thought out sort of point that I'm trying to make about virtual influencers and what has happened in terms of them going the way of full AI and how it's just messing everything up for brand deals and for users and all of that stuff. But we ain't there yet. First, I'm gonna yap. Y'all already know the order of operations here. Anyways, hey everybody, I'm back. I'm not muted. I'm anticipating, I shouldn't even say this because I know I'm going to jinx everything. I am literally anticipating 0 technical difficulties today. I know me saying that is like the dumbest thing ever. And because of that, my computer's actually going to like melt in front of me. But I feel like this is going to be such a smooth stream, low-key. Hey, this is so fun. I'm so excited. I see a lot of AI hate. Y'all are some AI haters? Good. You're my target audience. I love me some people who would prefer to watch real human beings. But I don't want to get too into it because we usually, just for those of you who may be new, this is your first stream, the first 30 minutes or so are just a yap session as I let people sort of filter in. And then, yeah, we'll get started and I'll start going through my outline. I'm kind of excited about this video because it's like, I feel like some of y'all don't realize maybe how bad things are getting. I feel like this one's kind of slightly informative. And I've talked about this on streams before, but I didn't have an outline. I was literally just ranting. But yeah, I've talked about on stream how it's just actually everywhere. And it is getting to the point where you genuinely cannot identify this stuff. But it's okay. It's okay. Someone said I'm watching this instead of doing work. You can watch me do work. This is me doing work. Anyway, how was the weekend? My weekend was pretty great. Do you know why? Because I didn't do any work. I did nothing on Sunday. Well, no, I pretty much did nothing. I played a lot of video games, actually. Do you know what I've been replaying? It's funny because in 2026, I told myself like, oh, D'Angelo, you're going to stop playing the same video games over and over and over. Like you have to have a new personality. You have to try to be. And then I just gave up and I started playing Metaphor ReFantazio again. So just for those of you who don't know, which is none of you because I don't think I've ever talked about this, I played this one video game for 99 hours in 2024. And then in 2026, I was like, okay, I want to find something new. But then I gave up and I just started playing the same game again. So it's I'm so boring. I continually have a feedback loop. And maybe that's why I talk so much about different things that are happening in real time on the internet. Actually, does anybody relate to this? I'm very curious. Do we all kind of follow real-time news cycle stuff? Because in our personal lives, there's really not much new ever. Anything I wind up talking about online is probably the only new thing I've actually seen. Because I really I go through the same experiences out of comfort In my personal life, I have so many routines in place just so that I don't have things that are surprising or dramatic. And then, yeah, that's probably why I'm so interested in things that move quickly. Because I myself am a turtle. I'm a tortoise. Someone said those are normal numbers for a JRPG. Yeah, that's the worst thing, is that like 100 hours to me isn't that much at all, honestly. It can get so much worse. I mean, I'm up to like 128 now. So we're getting into... It's probably going to get up to like 150, but then I'm going to stop playing for real. I'm going to stop. Someone said, by the way, Twin, your chat is so delayed. There's little I can do about it. I will say, honestly, the delay isn't that bad. It's like 10 to 15 seconds, which does sound like a lot. I know, but like, it's probably the reason why it's good to have it on screen so you can see things aren't happening immediately. Yeah. I do wish, honestly, that like I could just instantaneously react to things. I feel like on Instagram, they have so little latency issues where like it's almost like I get the live feed instantaneously. But at the same time, like the video quality on Instagram is not as nice. But yeah, to stream in 1080p with like nice footage that you can see clearly, we do have to have that little bit of delay. But I try to make it not bad. Someone said the delay is not bad. I try to make it not bad for y'all. I really do. I really do. There's like little tricks you got to do as a streamer that no one really talks about. Like, for example, if I have something on screen that I do need a bunch of reactions to in the chat, I've got to like wait. But like, when you're good at yapping, it's not a problem. I told someone recently, because they were saying they wanted to get into streaming. I was like, they asked me how to yap more, which is something I get asked a lot in real life, which I'm going to choose to believe is not people nicely telling me I talk too much. But I told them, like, it's not so much that you have to embrace the yap. You have to let the yap embrace you. Someone said, I remember I had almost 500 hours of Animal Crossing New Horizons by the end of 2020. I was not doing well. I have empathy for you because, like, show me someone who was doing well at the end of 2020, and I will show you a liar or somebody completely out of touch with reality. Whatever y'all did in 2020 doesn't matter. You're excused. Y'all are fine. Someone said, I didn't even know D'Angelo was doing live streams until yesterday. I'm so glad you're back. Well, thank you. I'm so glad I'm back. I love live streaming. Live streaming for me is kind of like YouTube because, well, I am live streaming on YouTube, but it's kind of like my story of making videos where I thought I was going to have to stop because of my mental health a couple years ago. Actually, it was more than a couple years ago. Jeez. But, and then I came back with this video where I was like, oh, I haven't posted in 9 months and I've been doing really poorly, but I really do want to post things. I really do kind of want to turn it into a good story. And then I came back later after some more time and I just went crazy with the uploads. I posted so many videos and I was so consistent for like, does anybody remember me consistently doing YouTube for literally like almost 2 years? I feel like I came back to YouTube and stayed for almost 2 years because I just wanted to turn it back into a positive thing for me. And that's kind of how I feel with live streaming, where I loved parts of live streaming back when I did it like 5 years ago, but there were elements of it that were really, really depressing. And so then I got sad and I thought to myself, oh, I can't stream anymore because it's going to make me sad. But now I'm on a mission to replace all of my bad streaming memories with good ones. And it's been working. I think the main things that made me really sad were like constantly fixating on the numbers, which don't matter at all. And also like I was dealing with a lot of technical difficulties because I had horrible internet. But now I feel like I don't really have that much lag. Or if I do, it's something I can accept. And as for the numbers, guess what? I'm looking at my whole screen right now. I don't see any. I never, at this point, I think I've streamed for what, like 20, 24, I don't know how many hours I've been streaming since I've come back, but like, at no point do I review any of my live stream numbers. I don't care how many people are watching live. I don't care how many views the stream gets afterwards, because that's literally not why I'm doing it. And YouTube will always try to like make you feel like, oh, you need to continually be something. That way people don't stop watching you. And I was like, what if I was just myself and whoever wants to watch can catch me when they're free to do so? And if not, they can watch it after, either in the form of the VOD or the form of the video that I edit after the fact. So I have been having big fun ever since I came back. I'm reading chat. I just see a lot of hype that I'm back. Don't worry, I'm equally hyped. I was reviewing my topics for because here's the thing. Like, not only do I sort of leave and come back, but I also have like chill and growth periods as well, as I'm sure many of y'all remember. Right now, I'm very much in a chill period. Even though the channel is growing, I'm not so unplugged that I don't see that. I do have eyes and ears and people are telling me things. However, I will say, like, there is always one really big thing that happens every year. It's not always a good thing, but it always usually does result in at least a good video or like a big or important video. So I've got my eyes peeled. I feel like as much fun as I'm having right now, probably something crazy is going to happen later in the year, and that's when things will get really fun. But right now, I am loving just a sort of chill return era. It's really, really, really fun. It's really fun. Someone said they're doing the dishes right now. I need to be you, actually. I need to do the dishes. I should be doing the dishes right now. Would y'all watch a dishes stream? The only thing actually that I want to stream, I wouldn't stream me doing the dishes. Even though many of y'all may not know, but the Japanese singer Utada, they have a video of them just washing dishes as the music video, which I feel like is so iconic. So maybe I will do a dishes stream. But one thing I kind of want to stream is me running. But that seems... I'm not going to do it. Mostly because I like to run outside. I don't want to dox myself, and I don't want other people to show up on my stream that did not consent to it. But maybe I'll do like, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll record a video of me running so y'all can see my running trail, and then I'll just show it to you. I think that's a little less stupid than trying to stream outside, which is never good. I have never clicked into an IRL stream that had good internet. We're not there yet. We are not there yet. Someone said Utada Hikaru, the simple and clean singer. Yes, them. I talk about Hikaru Utada way too much because I am essentially one of their biggest fans. But what can you do? Like, game recognized game. Big fan. Someone said yes, fitness era. Period. Listen, I still did my 5K yesterday. What do you mean I uploaded a 22-minute video about what was yesterday's video about? It's so funny how I never remember anything about my videos after I post them. Oh, Dax Shepard. What do you mean I uploaded a 22-minute video about Dax Shepard and then still went and ran my little 5K on my treadmill? Y'all, I want to get off the treadmill, but it has literally been below freezing every single day. Maybe not every single day. I might be lying. But it's felt like it. So as soon as we get just a smidgen of good weather, what is good weather to me, trust, I will be back out there. I'll be back out there. Someone said being a Kingdom Hearts fan as a child has cemented Utada as the GOAT in your brain. Same. Very much same. Very much same. Someone said, okay, keep joking. No, I'm a slow runner. Slow. All right, what else we got? I'm just going to be yapping for the next 10 minutes before we get into the topic. I love yap. I went to the gym the day you talked about your running journey. I spent 20 minutes on the treadmill. I felt very accomplished. That's an accomplishment. Honestly, and that's the thing, like, it doesn't have to be the gym. It doesn't have to be you actually like lifting anything or whatever. I would like, to the best of your ability, y'all to just get up and walk around a little bit more. For me personally, that is mostly why I got into running accidentally. It just started off as an attempt to go outside, but now it's a thing that I do, unfortunately. But yeah, I think like anything you do that is like a slight interruption in a period where you would be sitting, to the best of your ability, you should do it. Like, I don't know, walk around your block or something. It's really great. It's really great. Someone said very important. What is your favorite color? Oh, I've been cycling through favorite colors since I was 4. 4 is the first time I remember someone asking me what my favorite color was. And I was that really, really annoying child who was like, oh, rainbow. Rainbow? Please, this is why no one likes you. But it was true. At one point, I liked every color. And then I had this period where I liked only black when I was like 12. To the point where my parents were begging me, like, please stop wearing so much black because people are going to think that you're depressed or whatever. I was. But I was just wearing clothes for fun. And then I got into an era where I liked a lot of greens and earth tones. And then that kind of shifted into beige. And right now, I would say my two favorite colors are black and darker black. I've reverted really, really, really hard back into my 12-year-old sense of fashion. And so now we're 100% back in like edgelord territory. I've let go of every single sense of shame, every single little bit of shame that I had over being edgy. I remember I used to draw things, again, talking about me being like 13, 14, and then I would get cringed out because I was like, oh, this is edgy. Why did I draw this? I don't want people to think I'm an edgy 12-year-old. I'm a 14-year-old. I've evolved. But now that I'm 27, I'm so deeply committed to having the fashion sense of me, my edgy 12-year-old self, because I deserve it. So yeah, skulls, big fan. Black, weird metal thingies or spiky thingies, you know, creepy, like traditionals. Sign me up for literally all of it. I'm such a fan of that aesthetic right now. Someone said I was 100% expecting a pink. Well, the reason that there's so much pink, even though I said my favorite color is black, is because I've always been pretty good at differentiating between things that I like and things that are visually interesting. I think if I came at y'all with like a fully black dark macabre background, it would definitely look cool. But I was like, nah, it needs to be visually arresting. It needs to be not just exactly what would make me comfortable, but something that kind of is immediately iconic. And I feel like between my thumbnails and the way my live stream looks, and also the way when I switched to my PC setup with the wallpaper I got from there, yeah, I feel like the pink was that last little bit of aesthetic. It's funny too, because would you believe it was on a whim? I was creating, before I came up with this pink thing, I was creating like this sort of duck green aesthetic is like the best way I can put it. And it would have, I promise you it would have looked really cool, because I always do put a lot of thought into it. It was going to be like sort of duck green with white, and it was kind of elevated and this, that, the other. But then I started getting it in my head, and I was like, you know what? What if I just wore pink all the time? Because I wanted to be immediately recognizable. But then I was like, wait a second. I don't want to do that. Like, even though I really like the color pink and I'm happy to wear like some of it every now and then or whatever, I still want to commit to the way I'm dressing. So then I was like, what if I did a completely pink aesthetic, but I changed nothing about the way that I dress? I think that would be hilarious. And so we still here. We still here. Are people asking if the background is AI? We're going to talk about that today. Actually, that's almost part of the reason I wanted to do this as a video topic. I'm not mad at you, by the way. You should be asking if the creators you're watching are using AI. It's a good question. I'm just here to tell you I'm not and never will. And I'm also really annoyed that we all have to be so, I guess, wary and have so much trust issues when it comes to this sort of thing. But I'm going to get into that when I get into the topic. But it's okay though. It's okay though. Like, I've talked about it before. I'm too much of an artist to care about like Gen AI, because here's the thing. There's always like the moral justification for doing things, and then also my other justification, right? My moral justification for not being into AI is obvious. The downsides for the environment, the fact that a lot of this is plagiarism. If I was trying to use it in my content, I would be plagiarizing my fellow content creators. If I tell AI, oh, hey, whip me up a video, and then it's just like stealing things from like, I don't know, a Curtis Connor script or like a Funky Frog Bait script or whatever, because transcripts for YouTube videos are public information, then like, what is the point of watching me? And I can't stress how this is not good for the environment in the first place. But I have to be honest with you. I am still a human being, and I don't always do things. I don't always do the right thing for the right reason. Okay. My other reason, which I would say is almost equally as important for why I'm just not into Gen AI, is because it's ugly. And I really, really don't like ugly things. I don't. I don't want them in my presence. I feel like I work so hard to just be surrounded by things that are cool and not ugly. And the fact that, like, I have not yet seen anybody generate anything with AI that is, like, not but ugly. Now, granted, even if you did start making things that looked cool or whatever, I'm not going to co-sign this when it's still bad for the environment and it's still plagiarism, but it's too ugly for me. It's too ugly for me. And that's my twofold opinion about why you will never, literally never see or hear Gen AI content in my videos unless it is me reacting to something that someone else has created and letting you know that it is AI. So someone said say more about why it's bad for the environment. Oh, I'll tell you why. Well, okay, here's the thing. AI is bad for the environment. I would also argue low-key that it's bad for the economy as well. However, I'm not enough of an economist to really make this a cogent point. But work with me here. Everything about the AI bubble right now is just speculation. So much money is being dumped into this, but it isn't necessarily making as much money as you would think, right? If you hear like, oh, this company is valued at billions of dollars or whatever, you're thinking they must be making all this cash. But a lot of AI is just completely throwing away resources. And a lot of the tech industry is just dumping money into things and hoping that it makes you money later. Much of this is not profitable. And so that sort of energy of like, oh, we don't really need to make money now, as long as people are talking about our thing and we could possibly make it later, is also kind of the exact same energy towards the environment when these processes are using all these resources. I don't know if you remember NFTs, but that was another major issue where these non-fungible tokens, not only were they not valuable at all, they had a completely inflated sense of value ascribed to it by speculative investing and stuff like that. It was horrible for the environment because people were just burning resources to try to infinitely mine this stuff or create this stuff. And I just find it to be appalling how it's like so much is being sacrificed in the terms of in the name of something that's not real. You know what I mean? Someone said it's a money pit. It's a black hole. Yeah. So that's my brief answer. It's not a very educated answer because I can't exactly tell you like, oh, hey, if you tell ChatGPT to make you into a plushie. I saw an ad for ChatGPT and it was literally like, oh yeah, open ChatGPT and ask it to turn you into a plushie. And I was like, why? But yeah, if you do that, I can't tell you exactly the wattage or how much was burned down in the name of an image that didn't need to exist. But other people have done really, really great research and literature. Someone said AI companies dump billions and are still completely unprofitable. It's crazy work. It is insane how much of the tech industry is not profitable. And well, I guess it's also really annoying too, because like, I'm trying to think of how to word this. You only get to not pay things when you're rich, right? I don't think like any of the rest of us have the ability to be like, oh yeah, I don't really have money, but I should still be able to exist on the promise of some money that I could get in the future or whatever. That's not, I guess, a level of empathy extended to human beings, which I think should be the main people who should not have to make money to continue to exist. Instead, it's like, oh no, if you don't have money as like a person, you finna die, which is so insane. But like, oh, you're a company and you're not making money, that's fine. Because maybe someday our investors will get our money back. So you can just burn literally the earth to the ground. But it doesn't matter. It's annoying. It's annoying. It's incredibly annoying. Ugh. Anyways. Somebody said Mark Ruffalo on the red carpet. Yeah, I don't know what you mean by that, but I do know I see Mark Ruffalo saying things a lot, like things that are true, like ICE is bad, or constantly calling out the Trump administration. And then I see a lot of people getting mad at him. And I'm like, I don't know why. Seems like a weird thing to be mad about. Granted, I'm not a celebrity glazer. I saw the same thing too, where Zara Larson was recently saying like really pointed stuff about the administration, and then people were all up in her comments mad or saying she was performative or this, that, the other. And I'm like, I don't know. That's a strange thing to be mad about to me. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. All right. I think we're ready to start. Someone said we're just warming up. No, we are transitioning into the topic. The topic. Let's go. Someone says that Dave. This is Dave's virtual avatar. It's not AI. This is a CG image behind me. But yeah, this is Dave's CGI avatar. We've talked about it in the past. I should make that a point in my video. I should make that. Hold on, wait. I'm going to edit my outline really fast to make sure I talk about what happened to Dave. Because I find it to be so indicative of so many issues that we're facing right now. Someone said, how can criticizing Trump be performative? No, okay, y'all, we gotta stop calling literally everything performative. Okay, I do get kind of fed up with that. Because at the end of the day, it almost seems like just this, like, if you call somebody that, how can they respond? I don't really understand that criticism for a lot of things. Now, granted, so many things are performative. Like if a company is telling you, oh, hey, the environment's so important to us. And then they're going and releasing all these emissions and stuff. That's performative, right? But yeah, no, things like celebrities on the red carpet using their moment in the spotlight to redirect attention to things that they think are more important or whatever. I don't really see that as performative. Or if I do, I feel like I'm missing a point there. Yeah, I don't really understand why everything is apparently performative. It's silly to me. Some things y'all should be performing. Maybe let's talk about that. Maybe if like empathy is the thing that you're performing, that's not the worst thing ever. I don't know. That's a half-baked point. Please don't quote me on that. I'm still working on it. Someone said Tesla. Tesla is performative. Yeah, I think companies are very performative in general because they have to be. All right. I'm gonna start recording. Wait, let me drink some water first. Someone said virtue signaling can be performative. It's true, yeah. But virtue is still good. That's the main thing I want to kind of remember. Like, yeah, virtue signaling is annoying, but virtues do exist and should be espoused. All right, y'all. I have beef with someone's grandma. It's 2026. I know we're only 2 weeks in. I've managed to avoid drama with anybody thus far, but I am officially actually kind of pissed off. However, this is a fight I can't win because the grandma in question is not a real human being. So I kind of lost from jump. I'm kind of like the old man yelling at a cloud here. Anyways, hi, I'm D'Angelo. This video is about fake people, real problems, and just the complete devolution of virtual influencers. People are asking me about the grandma. Yeah, no, this is an AI grandma who I personally feel like is infringing on my whole bag right now. But we're going to get to her at the end of this video, which is a more general, sort of reflection on how like AI influencers are surging in popularity right now. And not only do I think it's making things worse for influencers, obviously, I think it's making things worse for everybody. You know what I mean? I think it's making things worse for everybody. I feel like if this was a video where I was just like, hey, I'm an influencer, I have the job where I do internet, I wouldn't really make that y'all's problem. But I do genuinely think this is an important thing to talk about because it's sort of making the web experience less enjoyable for anybody who is trying to browse social media, trying to gain information, trying to follow anything at this point. I think it's become a hellscape for all of us. So Chungus old lady who is a clanker. Exactly. I love the word clanker because it's so like harsh and artificial. And that is the main thing I want y'all to remember as we go through all this. None of these are people, okay? They're gonna look like people. I may be using pronouns that you use for people. These ain't they not like us. They not like us, for real, for real. Someone said Black Mirror predicted so many things. I feel like satire, well, wait, chat, am I really stupid? Can Black Mirror be considered satire? I feel like it's satire, right? Wait, someone's gonna clock me and say you're so stupid, it's not satire. But what I'm getting at is, like, I feel like satire in general is getting so hard to do because the world that we live in, and this isn't my original thought, the world that we live in is like beyond parody. It's so stupid. Someone said satire sometimes. Okay, yeah, I think Black Mirror is a good satire for the most part, but like, what is the point when I can just read you a headline, and that's as weird as something that is happening in a TV show? Anyways, let's go ahead and get into it. Who remembers Lil Miquela? Because if y'all think that AI influencers are new, y'all must be new to this whole influencer thing. I unproudly, I used to be a fan. I used to think that Lil Miquela was pretty cool. Hold on, let me pull her up. Now, granted, this was in 2016 when I was a teenager, so that is important context. This isn't something that I would think is cool today. I was just being influenced. Let's see. So Lil Miquela is actually literally still kicking somehow, but she was making the rounds ever since she debuted in 2016. Popped off, I feel like, a couple years later, and everyone was like, oh my god, she has followers, but she's not real. Whatever will we do? The weird thing was, Lil Miquela was getting a bag for some reason. I don't know why companies are, well, I do know why companies are so eager to embrace this, because when you do things like this, you don't have to pay real people. And not paying real people is actually a really important core value for a lot of companies, right? So she was doing stuff with Prada, if I remember correctly, like all these fashion type things, but Lil Miquela was problematic from jump, okay? When I was researching this video, I didn't even realize this. Let me pull it. The people who do this sort of virtual influencer thing are typically so unscrupulous. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. They have so little going on in the way of morals that, like, it just results in the most dystopian environment. It just turned social media into something that it was never supposed to be. So yeah, even years ago, virtual influencer Lil Miquela criticized for quote unquote ignorant sexual assault vlog. When you have the robots, and this wasn't AI, this was just CGI, but when you have like the fake person doing a vlog telling you like, oh, haha, I was like assaulted in an Uber, you have to question the people who are behind this. Like, why are we profiting off of, first of all, that, right? When that didn't really happen, that's insane. Also, just everything about Lil Miquela, her being like a person of color. I also remember, if I remember correctly, she's like queer and this, that, the other. I'm like, I find it very, very off-putting to profit off of things that are real about people or things that do really happen to people and present it in a format that is bordering on parody. It's just strange. Speaking of which, watching this back, I feel like it makes me feel like I'm in a fever dream. Hold on, let me take my PC audio and fix the monitoring. That way I can hear it. Okay, great. So this is so weird. Watching this back is like fever dream territory.
In the studio working on new music or
wait,
or planning the next 404 job, I was plugged into my
I feel like it's really quiet. Oh, but I can't really turn it up. I can't really turn it up. Okay. Sorry. Sorry, chat. You're just kind of have to like listen up. Listen real good. If it's too quiet, y'all can let me know and I'll figure something out. But dude, this is so weird.
If I wasn't in the studio working on new music or planning the next 404 job, I was plugged into my charging dock. I deserved a day for myself, and if you follow me on Insta, you know how sacred the beach is to me. There's something about being around a bunch of half-naked people that brings me peace. Or turns me on, whatever. Disclaimer, yes, I can get wet, so no need to go off about it in the comments.
Okay. A video in which the robot is telling me, yes, I can get wet, I don't think is the appropriate media to also contain a fake sexual assault story in the back of an Uber. Personally, I feel like if this is not telling you that there's something very deeply off with the tone here, I don't know what else will. Okay, so where's the Uber part? Oh, my internet doesn't want to play this, and it's trying to save us. It's trying to save us. Hold on. I need to be saved. My internet's like, you don't need to be watching this. This is just
I wasn't
stupid.
trying to brush it off. I turned the other way and looked out the window. Then, sure enough, I just feel this guy's cold, meaty hand touch my leg, as if he was confirming I'm real. His hand literally lingers there, rubbing my skin. I, of course, was like, curb your enthusiasm, and asked him to stop. And he took his sweet-ass time removing his hand.
Quite enough of that. Quite enough of that. But yeah, that's sort of my first main point, which is that, like, the people behind these things have never been good people. And even though I feel like it's definitely interesting to talk about, it raises so many problems that are just completely unaddressed. Okay? Someone said, why did her team make that? Bro, because they don't care. That's the simplest answer. You're asking a really good question. You're asking a really good question. Because they don't care. As long as we are talking about the robots, then they are winning, essentially, which makes this entire video feel stupid. But I have to remind myself, I have a point. I have a point that I'm trying to make here. However, this video is from 2019, right? It's gotten bad now because at least when this was happening, it was something that still needed artists, right? As much as I'm not a big fan of Lil Miquela, this was something that somebody created. And I do believe CGI artwork is artwork, right? Hold on, let me pull... So New York Magazine kind of went behind the scenes, right? With Lil Miquela's creators, if you will. And like all this happening in the background, yes, it is definitely strange to do this. But I feel, oh, wow. Yep, close. I feel like there's such a marked difference between having to put some sort of effort in and then essentially creating something that is still not supposed to be real, right? Obviously, no one thought that this was a real person. If you compare that to what the virtual influencers are looking like today, it's a little scary. Hold on. I'm gonna pull this new one. Bro, this is not it. This is... We've come so far in such a short amount of time. Well, I mean, 2019 was actually a really long time ago, but... what is happening? This is so creepy that this is sort of where we've gone with the virtual influencer direction. And so no longer is it people at least trying to create artwork, trying to make something that makes sense. You just have people typing things up, typing up prompts, and running entire Instagram accounts. Oh my gosh, Instagram is going to try to force me to sign in. Resist. I don't want to sign in. Hold on. Please, for the love of God. Okay, there we go. You have this going on. It's so uncanny, so uncomfortable to look at. And then what I think makes it super, super annoying is for some reason, the press just like bends over backwards to glaze AI influencers. 10-influencer Mia Zello went viral at Wimbledon with one catch. She's AI. This influencer's going viral at Wimbledon. No, she's not going viral at Wimbledon because actually, the photo in question literally has 16,000 likes. Now listen, I shouldn't have to be the one to tell you that that's not called going viral because you were at Wimbledon. That's called someone generated an image. Some people online hit the like button, probably the vast majority of which not realizing that this is not a real person. And then for some reason, a bunch of news outlets, I mean, granted, not exactly ones that we're out here trusting, like The Independent, for example, ran with this. You know what I mean? Oh, someone brought up Tilly Norwood. Yeah. Oh, that's the thing too. It's like now we are really, really, really trying to, I feel like, infringe upon things that real people are doing, right? Oh, I pressed the wrong button. When you have like Tilly Norwood, this quote unquote AI actress that they are trying to, oh, I thought she had a Starbucks cup. Would that not literally be, that would almost be funny in terms of just max immorality. Why not? Honestly, have her do Starbucks promo because it's the same mindset. Yeah, when you have like these AI actors which have agents that we are trying to make a real thing. I also found a lot of the discussion around this Norwood character avatar entity to be forced as well. Also, when I was researching, I saw this one article headline that embarrassed me so much. So this is the New York Post, and I'm sorry, this is like me pointing at a landfill and being like, oh my gosh, there's trash in there. But sexy influencer takes Wimbledon by storm, leaves athletes drooling. But there's a big catch. She's AI. The New York Post essentially just going awooga at some pixels. I'm trying to let y'all know things are a little bit different than they were in 2019. Hopefully this was a good opening salvo. We are not in the same, we're not playing with the same building blocks here. Things are weird. Things are getting weird. Somebody said, stop this, please. Why do people keep entertaining this kind of stuff? I don't know. Because at the same time, y'all have literally been trying to make this happen for the past 7, 8, 9, going on 10 years. 2016 was 10 years ago. Nah, cut that out of the video. I don't even want to think about that. But it's so painful. It's so painful. Someone said the New York Post article is probably AI generated too. I mean, yeah. Hold on. That's a whole other topic. I have clicked into so many articles from mainstream sources where I can tell that y'all are running this through AI filters. I don't think that the vast majority of content that I see in like mainstream news articles is maybe generated by AI because AI can't be topical, but I get that weird AI ick so often now just reading text where I'm just like, this is so painful. This is so painful. All right. Someone asked me if I'm AI. I mean, if I am, I don't even know what to say. You should unfollow me. If AI ever gets to the point where it can make stupid mistakes like I often do on my stream, or like take water breaks, it's embarrassing. Someone said AI glazing AI. No, really, the AI cinematic universe needs to end. But unfortunately, if it was just a case where like, oh, people are still talking about this, blah blah blah, I wouldn't really be turning this into a whole video. What I'm kind of getting at is like, this content is working a lot better than it used to. Okay, hold on, let me pull this one source. All right, so we have this BBC article. And this is what really brought the story on my radar. Or this is what really put the story on my radar. Both these influencers are successful, but only one is human, right? Initially, I feel like when this AI thing was popping off, there was like no competition between Lil Miquela and an actual influencer, especially not like a smaller influencer. It wasn't supposed to be the same thing. But I feel like now that you are supposed to not be able to tell who is real anymore, even though some people may have thought Lil Miquela was real, like things are just going into a really strange direction. So the BBC says, in some ways, Gigi is like any other young social media influencer. With perfect hair and makeup, she logs on and talks to her fans, etc., etc., etc. But after a few seconds, something may seem a little off. She can munch on pizza made out of molten lava or apply snowflakes and cotton candy as lip gloss. Her hands sometimes pass through what she's holding. That's because Gigi isn't real. She's the AI creation of University of Illinois student Simone McKenzie, who needed to make some money over the summer. Now, I don't blame a university student for needing to make money over the summer. I really do hope that that's not how this is about to come across. I just feel like, and I hate to go like back in my day, because sometimes y'all make me feel like I'm 70. Back in my day, when you needed to make some money and you thought you could do it online, you did so by trying to create good content, right? In 2018, maybe is when my YouTube career started, when I told myself like, hey, I actually could use some money too, because this whole university thing is running out for me. I bet I can get a bag on the internet by creating things that people actually want to watch, that feature me and my creativity. I find it really sad now that people are just thinking to themselves like, oh yeah, I can literally just type up some prompts and spit something out and people will watch it. What? I remember a couple years ago when people were freaking out because everybody wanted to be an influencer, but now the kids don't even want to be influencers. They literally just want content to post, which is so unfortunate. Someone said you're low-key unk. No, I am. I'm washed, y'all. I'm so far beyond the meta at this point, and I'm proud. I'm proud to be unk. Also, by the way, digression. White people saying unk now is hilarious to me. Actually, anytime I see AAVE escape the clutches of black people and drift into the mainstream, I just laugh. Like the fact that everything is like on period now, and you just have like, I don't know, just the most random and unexpected people saying things like unk. It's so funny. It's so funny. That's really, I don't know. And then also sometimes I watch people build entire careers off of just saying things that black people have been saying forever, but because somebody non-black said it, it came across as really funny. And apparently that's enough to be a social media influencer nowadays. But that was a digression. And that's not important. I am unk, and you are correct. And I'm not accusing you specifically of cultural appropriation. Anyways, someone said it's jarring. It's jarring. Anyways, Miss McKinsey, 21, is part of a fast-growing cohort of digital creators who churn out a stream of videos by entering simple prompts into AI chatbots like Google. Oh, I just like binged myself. Why is there a Bing button? This is so weird. And then, well, hey, at least Bing is not spitting out AI at me in the beginning. Or look, here's the thing. Like, if I just accidentally did this, but it spit something out in Google, I feel like Google is going to try to spit AI at me. Hold on. I want to test this really fast. Look at that. I talk mad smack about Bing for being, Bing, but I'm now feeling like, you know what, if I'm gonna Bing something and they're not at least gonna like spit AI at me, I might like Bing better. Someone said it does use AI. Is this still AI? Look, it's hard for me to tell. If it is, they're not like disclosing it, which is really weird. I don't know where the AI is though, but I know Microsoft is still really trying to push their Copilot thing. Anytime I try to use my Windows PC, it's just like, oh, Copilot, do this with AI, do that with AI. I also write my outlines in Microsoft Office, and yeah, anytime I'm typing up an outline, they're like, oh, do you want to use AI to fix that to sound less stupid? I'm like, more like a robot does not equal less stupid to me. Obviously, that's not the verbiage that they're using, but anyway, sorry. I just wasn't expecting to get like flash binged. Anyways, its creators are finding considerable success. One video made me $1,600 in just 4 days, Miss McKinsey said. I was like, okay, let me keep doing this. I don't. I've talked about this before. But when it comes to AI ads that are running on AI content, I literally feel like advertisers are just throwing their money away. Because the average person, and we're going to get into that later in the video, the average person literally watches AI content with their eyes closed. I promise you, people are not even really watching it. But hey, if advertisers want to give, $1,600, spend $1,600 in ad spend on this, knock yourselves out, I guess. Let's see what else. After 2 months, Gigi had millions of views, making Miss McKinsey thousands through TikTok's Creator Fund, a program that pays creators based on how many views they get. But she's far from the only person using AI to reach easy virality. So anyways, sort of the next section of this article is talking about how a bunch of people are doing this, and that's sort of what I'm getting into as well. Somebody said, I got the notification about the stream now. Oh, hey, you're just in time. Trust, you're just in time. Well, I see like multiple people got notifications just now. Someone said, how? Who is paying? What is the rate of return on AI ads? It can't be good. I feel like it can't be good. Look, I'm not a subject matter expert on many things. Most things. I don't know a lot of things, but I do know ads. I do know ads because people have used things I've made to run a lot of ads. I can tell you right now, $1,600 on AI generated content is not the same thing as running $1,600 worth of ads on my content. I think y'all should run $1,600 worth of ads on this video right now. In how many days was that? 4 days. You should just, anytime y'all are feeling like y'all want to throw some money away, let me tell you right now, we have inventory available in front of the latest D'Angelo video. That's all I'm saying. Oh my gosh, it's so stupid. Okay, so anyways, one thing I do like about this article is that it doesn't just glaze AI, right? Obviously, like, wait, where's my tab? Obviously, my tab of everybody just talking about Mia Zelu. Oh my gosh, she's so hot. We're so excited about this. I prefer to also think about the people who this is affecting. And so this one talks about how it's not feasible for human influencers like Kavya Sambasavam, 26. Sorry, I'm going to read that again so I have a good take in the video. It's not feasible for human influencers like Kavya Sambasavam, 26, who has around 1.3 million followers across multiple platforms. Now, listen, y'all. I do know it's a hard ask to say, hey, let's feel sorry for people who have 1 million Instagram followers and are complaining about not being able to make as much money as other people. However, I still think it's a pretty human and universal thing to be like, actually, I just find it really uncool that I'm being phased out by people making robot pictures. Because that's mostly how I feel. I know there's it's a tricky scenario when influencing as a job is so loaded in the first place, but it is totally a job. And what's happening with this AI stuff, I still feel like is not right. Now, granted, this is the sort of thing that happens on the scale with everybody. It's just less visible, right? Influencers getting phased out by AI, we're going to complain about it. We're going to be really annoying. And as influencers do, we're going to try to make it your problem. Copywriters, for example, getting phased out by AI, you're not going to find as many BBC articles about this, right? You're not going to find as many YouTube videos about how actually there are so many jobs and there are so many people who weren't popular or famous to begin with that are experiencing this exact same thing. So if anything, I really don't want you to come away just feeling like, oh, I only care about this because they're taking my job or whatever. First of all, y'all will never take my job. Y'all can't generate anything as annoying as me. You could try, but it would never work. And secondly, this sucks for everybody. It just sucks. So anyway, the influencer they interviewed says, it bears the question, is this going to be something that we can outcompete? Because I am a human. My output is limited. Ms. Sambasavam, who is based in North Carolina, said, there are months where I will be down in the dumps and I'll just post the bare minimum. I can't compete with robots. That's the thing. None of us can compete with robots. Somebody said it's their first chat and their first live stream on YouTube ever. Hey, my chat is really nice. So I do almost feel a little sorry for you because let me tell you, most of these YouTube chats are not it. But my peeps are pretty fire. I'm a fan. None of us have empathy. I have empathy because none of us can compete with robots. I can't compete with robots. Hold on. This might be a surprise to some of y'all. One time, I went 14 months without posting a video online because I couldn't do that. Does anybody remember that? Because it just ended 2 weeks ago. The idea that like I have to think to myself, oh, well, I can't ever stop creating things because like somebody is going to be able to infinitely generate content to fill a hole in the market that I was trying to put out. I find it to be pretty off-putting. Someone said they're machines. They're literally machines. I genuinely feel like as a creator, I already deal with so much like dehumanizing language from YouTube. I'm not blaming y'all. This is not a viewer issue. YouTube is the one where you open YouTube Studio, it's using all this language to try to make you feel bad. Oh my gosh, your last video is not doing as well as the videos before it. Oh my gosh, your channel views are down. Everything is in the red. And so I feel like it really is just like yet another nail in the coffin that all of these things can be true. And YouTube wants you essentially to act like a machine and keep spamming whatever works for them. While also some people have the ability to do this just by typing things up. It's so annoying. I find it annoying. Someone said I look at the account, spot it, report it, and block it. Yeah, at this point, it's the best way of quote unquote engaging with AI content. Because if you are not saying that you're not interested in it, or you're not preventing it, from showing up on your feed or whatever, this is how people are passively making so much money off of this. And obviously, if you are passively making $1,600 because you type some stuff up, like, it's incentivizing a proliferation of this content that is objectively making the platform worse. Objectively, but also in my opinion. But I feel like we can all agree on this one little point. So I blocked so much AI content. Same. My block list looks crazy right now. My block list looks crazy. It's wild. It's wild. Someone said they just woke up. Go back to sleep. There's nothing good for you here. Just isn't. I'm kidding. I'm glad to see you. Hey, but I wish I could go to sleep after looking through some of this stuff. All right, I'm reading chat. I need the AI bubble will burst thing to be true so badly. Same. I mean, it does have to, because like money is not infinite, right? However, I don't know. When you do literally have this ad spend being generated by this content, it's kind of hard to say. Someone said maybe AI being too perfect will make people lower beauty standards for fellow humans. I hope so. Honestly, I really, really do. Because here's the thing, like, I'm going back to, boo, jump scare, she's back. The AI influencer. If we do sort of realize that, like, oh, hey, literally no one can ever look like this ever. You can never actually look this bronzed and perfect, and even the hairs that are out of place are still perfectly generated by a computer or whatever. Maybe we can let go of the idea that any of us have to look like anything. I think that would be really nice. That would be a really fun accidental upside of AI, is if it drives people into increasingly realistic and lo-fi content. I don't know. That's also another reason why I've been trying to stream so much and not be super like, oh, everything must be written out and this, that, the other, because I want to be real in my videos. I want y'all to feel like you're consuming real content. Someone said even the smile lines are perfect. I hate AI. I know. How are we gonna optimize wrinkles? Chat, we are optimizing wrinkles to make sure that they still fit within beauty standards. It's like, I'm laughing, but it's not funny at all. It's not funny. Also, I'm not gonna like force this point because it's a reach. I'm reaching right now. I'm reach warning. But do y'all notice how celebrities are kind of all morphing into like one face with like the plastic surgery and stuff? Listen. I don't have enough brain power. I didn't do sociology enough in college to tell you why. I promise you there is some sort of, it has to be related. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theory, but I'm noticing the beauty standard turn into one thing where everybody's face looks the same, and AI makes all the faces it generates look the same. And it's literally kind of turning into like, the beauty standard isn't about being beautiful anymore. It's literally, do you have the one face? Do you have the one face? You either have the one face or you're not beautiful. It's so disappointing and disturbing. Someone said like MAGA face. No, for real. I hate how like something that was already narrow and oppressive to people is just getting even more narrow. Okay, I see some of y'all are picking up what I'm putting down. Thank you. You're making me feel a little less crazy. I really do feel like AI face and the rise of that one plastic surgery look that everybody's going for, it cannot be unrelated. It can't be completely unrelated. But I would love somebody to do more research and make a more cogent point about that. Anyways, it's not just that human beings feel, kind of getting back into the topic, it's not just that people feel like we can't compete in terms of like putting out as much content as the robots can. It's also just like when brands start giving out deals to AI generated pictures and stuff because it's cheaper, it all almost sort of feels like the job of like influencing in general is kind of going out the window. So you have this article from the New York Times. These travel influencers don't want freebies. They're AI. And this article and the vast majority of the ones I'm looking at are literally just from the last couple months. I feel like it's ramping up in insanity as these AI tools just get more and more creepy, right? So they're kind of talking about how you have these fake travel influencers like Radhika over here, who we don't need to get into. If you have seen one AI generated conventionally attractive person, I think you have seen them all, right? And people are getting really upset by this because they're feeling like real travel influencers, companies don't even want to fly them out or like have them promote anything or do anything. Oh, there's so many. This article is long. Wait. Okay, hold on, chat. There is a picture of real people in this article, but here we go. I scrolled right past them. Okay, we've got real travel influencers who are saying they're seeing brands essentially cut back on the things that they would be commissioning earlier, or things that they would have been commissioning before the AI boom. Because why would you pay a real person essentially to, show people, oh, hey, fly our airlines or whatever, when you could literally just type it up and do it yourself? Also, this is not related, but this is one of the coolest pictures I've ever seen. I feel like, hold on, we need to get into this. Because if there's one thing that I'm never going to do, it's pass up an opportunity to appreciate drip. Game recognized game. This is why y'all can't be... This is why y'all can never beat us. Y'all being AI, us being human beings. Y'all are never, ever, ever gonna look this cool. I feel like that's the thing. I don't want to see, like, where was Radhika? I don't want to see this because this isn't real and you can see this anywhere. I want to see people. I want to see people who are individuals. And I can't believe that's actually too much to ask for now on today's modern web. Someone said they're serving looks. I can't even lie. No, for real. Like, I guess that's maybe another, I can spin this into a point. That's maybe another thing that bothers me with this whole AI thing is like, everyone who is glazing this, y'all are acting like people aren't still creating cool things. And I find it to be really bothersome. Oh my gosh, Tilly Norwood, the AI actress, she's going to take all of our jobs or whatever. Why are we acting like there aren't a bunch of young actors right now who are on the up and up and are doing really well? It's the same thing with like, oh my gosh, AI made quote unquote artwork or whatever. And okay, you generated something and also 10,000 artists created something that probably looked better and didn't get a lick of recognition for it. What the funny thing is, like, you could honestly approach this from any angle and still effectively make the same point that this AI stuff has got to go. Someone said the only people glazing AI are posers. The only people glazing AI are posers, or the people who think that it's going to turn them into a billionaire, which are like many, many, many more people than one would think. Someone said the fake it till you make it people are the only ones glazing AI. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's literally like, it goes so hand in hand with like the grind and hustle culture mentality. It's inextricable. Dare I say, it's inextricable. Oh my gosh. Someone said doing anything creative is hell. It is. It is. Obviously, like, doing visual media right now, rough, buddy. But I feel like we're all dealing with like our own version of AI hell. Again, like I said, a lot of writing jobs are in serious danger right now. Media or like illustrators right now, people don't want to pay them, and people already did not want to pay illustrators. I know that just from my time doing artwork, which was a long time. And now it's the same thing with influencers. And again, I have a lot more empathy for people who are not influencers because at the end of the day, I am going to be fine. All I'm telling y'all is if a problem makes it all the way up to like this level of visibility, you can guarantee yourself there are millions and millions of invisible people who are dealing with a much more egregious version of this problem. Someone said, I'm so happy I caught you live. Yeah, I'm happy you here. AI infiltrating fandom spaces with AI generated fan art drives me crazy. It's so disrespectful. I mean, that's disrespectful. And it's also just confusing because like, you could just find the artwork. If you're like, hold on, let me think of a fandom. If you're in the Shakespeare fandom, is that a fandom? And you're like, oh my gosh, I love Hamlet and I don't know, who do we ship Hamlet with? Essentially, if you're like, Hamlet X reader, If you're one of those people who's like, it should be Hamlet and me, you don't actually have to AI generate that, because I promise you, no matter how wild your ship is, you can probably find it. Hold on a second. Hamlet. I promise you. I promise you. Oh, wow. Wow. I just made up the craziest ship I could think of, and magically I was still able to find people posting this on Archive of Our... Oh, I gotta agree? Sure, why not? I can magically still feel people... Oh, I shouldn't have this on screen, because actually some of this might be crazy. Archive of Our Own. I'm happy. I'm happy for everyone on that website. All I'm saying is I don't trust the people on that website to just show it without vetting. Yeah, no, like, you never even have to generate anything yourself, because you can literally just find it. You can just find it. But yeah, as a big Hamlet X self shipper, I don't need to go to ChatGPT to try to generate Hamlet X reader content. I know that Archive of Our Own got me. If nobody else got me, if God abandons me, some sleep deprived fanfiction writer will still have me in their... They'll be thinking of me, and it makes me really happy. Someone said Archive can be very spicy. Yeah, no. Also, I really hate the way that people talk about like fan fiction and Archive of Our Own and stuff like that, because they're like, oh my god, like the content, it's sexual and women are reading it. And I'm like, I almost feel like the Jeopardy music starts playing in my head as I wait for the point. Like, okay, romance novels, which have existed, by the way, before any of us were born, exist and people enjoy them. I this constant backlash against like, oh my god, fan fiction people are crazy and romance readers are crazy and romantasy is ruining everything. Now granted, there's definitely times where like people within a group can be really loud and annoying, and I feel like you can make a point of like, oh hey, this group of romantasy readers or romance fans or whatever exhibited this behavior that I think should be called out. But yeah, categorically rejecting fanfiction on the basis of it being too spicy is hilarious. And I know I've been conflating like fanfiction, romance, and a bunch of other things are not the same thing, but people talk about all this stuff the same way. It's annoying. I find it annoying. Someone said, I hate the stories that involve kids and weird stuff. I don't like the incest stories. Look, I am not vouching for any specific thing. I'm just saying in general, y'all be a little crazy. Y'all be a little... Someone says just misogyny, man. Yeah, I don't have to... Yeah, I definitely don't even have to try to make it sound new or anything like that. It's not surprising to me. It's really not. Someone said the content is sexual. Bro, that's not even remotely the worst thing on there, I promise. Yeah, no, I feel like... there's definitely things to criticize, but it being content that contains things you don't like is never a good enough reason. Anyways, enough about Archive of Our Own. How did we wind up on AO3 when I was talking about AI? Then again, if I had to pick one thing to go away forever, and my two options were Archive of Our Own or artificial intelligence as an institution, all that AI stuff is just getting Thanos snapped out of existence like so much dust in the wind. Keep my fan fiction. Get rid of the clankers. Oh my gosh, I hate it. I hate it so much. Someone said, when do we seize the means of AI and destroy? I support an AI revolution. Yeah, I totally support it. Someone said AO3 just comes up. Archive of Our Own does have a way of sneaking its way into my conversations and into my mind when I'm not thinking about it that I find so powerful, if not kind of scary. Anyways, kind of getting back into it, yeah. I just kind of want to look a little bit more at the behaviors behind people who are consuming AI content, right? So you've got... why is nothing loading, man? Oh, just kidding. All I had to do was stop being impatient. So you've got this Fortune article, right? This 22-year-old college dropout is making $700,000 a year. Oh, sorry, I can't really like resize this very well because it's from... Speaking of archives, I had to archive this webpage to get past the paywall. Don't tell anybody. Don't tell anybody that I archived the page to get past the paywall. Sorry. I just didn't want to give Fortune magazine a couple bucks just so I could pull this as a source. But anyway, this 22-year-old college dropout is making $700,000 a year from quote unquote AI slop videos that people sleep through. And I cannot stress enough, no one is actually watching this. Or if they are watching it, the definition of watching has been twisted into something that doesn't really, it's not the same thing that you're doing right now. I'm not expecting you to be engaging with this video on the level of a college thesis. If you do somehow see that much social utility in the things that I'm saying, that's you being smart, not me. I'm just making silly things about things that interest me. However, I would like to believe that y'all are at least awake. I don't think that I'm talking to a live chat of people who are actually generally just zoned out and also doing, you know, things that they're not even paying attention to me. Now, I know a lot of y'all are crocheting. I know a lot of y'all are doing other things. Y'all are chilling with your cat. Y'all are doing whatever it is. I'm very much okay with being on in the background. However, the thought that no one is even actually listening to me or the things that I'm saying, I'm not even sure how you can feel like you're having fun creating this content. But again, if you're making $700,000 a year, I don't think fun is really part of it, y'all. $700,000 a year at 22. That is wild. That is wild. Oh my gosh. All right, so it says, since dropping out of Mississippi State University in 2020, the 22-year-old has built a thriving content creation business out of what has come to be called SLOP, the high-volume, AI-generated background noise that thrives in the gaps of the attention economy. And listen, I think that that's such a succinct way of putting it. I have to give Fortune this one little kudo. Can kudo be singular? You know how you give people kudos? Can I give them one kudo or even half a kudo? Thriving in the gaps of the attention economy is exactly how I would say this AI content is working. And because there is still money to be made, even from content that no one is actually consuming in the traditional sense, someone's going to pay out. So it says, since dropping out of Mississippi State University in 2020, the 22-year-old has assembled a sprawling network of YouTube channels that operates as a near autonomous revenue engine, requiring only about 2 hours of his oversight a day. He currently runs 5 active channels. Bro, 2 hours a day. Listen, okay. Even though you may only see me live streaming for 4 hours a couple times a week or whatever, and it definitely does give the impression that like I'm not doing a lot or whatever, I do low-key still have like a job. So even when I go off of my live stream, I usually go out and go for a walk so I can remind myself that grass exists. But like, I do still have to start thinking about like, okay, now I have to cut this into a video. I have to think about like, did that stream go well and what did I learn? I have to think about what are my topics for the rest of the week, this, that, the other. I don't have an army of robots helping me out with this. And a lot of times, like, I'm the one editing most of the content that you've seen as well. So I just feel like this idea that you could run not 1, but 5 channels with 2 hours work a day. Oh man, it's hard not to feel some kind of way, I guess, as somebody who is trying to put a lot of work. I'm trying to put a lot of work into my videos. I don't know. And look, this is the last time that I'm going to make this point, because I know I've brought it up 2 other times, and I feel like I know I'm disclaiming. Pardon my disclaimer. I don't want y'all to feel sorry for me because I do YouTube. I don't want y'all to feel sorry for me at all. I just really want to convey to you, I feel really strongly about this emotionally. I have a useless job, but people take it really seriously because I think it makes them happy. And I know that that sounds really trite, but it's because of this that things like this I just find to be really, really off-putting, because I feel like the fact that anybody can watch my video for any amount of time and say like, oh yeah, I enjoyed that period that I got to spend creating this, I'm going to turn around and take it really, really seriously and try not to be an awful person and put out awful content and put out brain rot that I'm not even caring about whether it's good or not, or whether it's accurate or this, that, the other, because literally anybody cares about the thing that I do. stuff like this is jarring. It's jarring. Someone said it's not useless. Yeah, and I shouldn't even talk about myself that way. I think that's like, it's tricky not to come across as out of touch, because if I did really sit here and I wasn't mentioning copywriters and I wasn't mentioning artists, like visual artists, people who are illustrating things, people who are creating fan fiction, people who do not have platforms to talk about this stuff, and I was mostly just approaching it from like me, someone's going to generate a commentary video and I'll be out of a job, I think that's out of touch. I don't think it's out of touch to say, hey, this is my job and I'm not even the person who's the most affected by this, but I still hate this. I still hate this. I still hate every single aspect of this attention economy that we're in. If now you don't even really have to try to make good content, because I thought that was the one reason why what I was doing was sort of okay. I thought maybe it's sort of okay that I'm known for commentary drama videos because I'm at least trying not to lie to people, mislead them, or create bad content. But what do you know? What do you know? So anyways, Davis told Fortune that his network of videos generates roughly $40,000 to $60,000 a month in oh my God, wow. $60,000 a month in revenue for 2 hours of work. That's crazy. That's, I feel like that is genuinely insane. Let me tell you right now, I ain't doing $60,000 a month in revenue off of 2 hours a day. And so that I come to you not as someone trying to scam you into thinking that like, oh, I'm poor or whatever. I can't compete with this, y'all, because I am not. I am literally not a robot. I can't do this. And I don't know how this works. And obviously YouTube is going to be putting, it goes where the money is, right? So when content like this starts getting prioritized, and people like this start getting, you know, just, sorry, I didn't mean to get shook. I've literally gone through all of these sources already. When I'm reviewing content on stream, it's usually not content that I'm brand new to, but I guess like when I was compiling it, it didn't really hit me until just now that like, this is, I can't compete with this. Oh my gosh, it's insane. It's insane. Someone said this article is probably not real, or he's lying about the numbers, or it's bots watching the content. It's the third one. It's the third one. The article is real, and for either he is lying to Fortune and Fortune is also lying about the money that he's making, but I don't think that's the case. It's the third thing where this money is not coming from real people watching the content. You know what I mean? That's really what it is. Someone said this feels like the new passive income dropshipping style grift. Like it probably doesn't even work for most people, but it drives business for AI companies. Yeah, exactly. Joe Schmo reading this thinking like, oh yeah, I sure could use an additional 5 figures with 2 hours of work a day. Let me tell you right now, you could click off this video, go spin up an AI channel. Y'all aren't going to see these numbers. This is definitely still an outlier because we cannot watch all of the videos. That's the thing. Like there are not enough eyes on available for us to consume all of this content. Someone said no one ever counts the taxes in those types of stories. Well, yeah, that is true. Even if you make $40,000 to $60,000 a month, you're not keeping all of it, and that's for sure. But still, like generating things, you have very little overhead. But here's the thing, though. Are y'all familiar with the term overhead, by the way? It's literally just, and I might be misusing it because I'm not that good of a business person, but overhead is literally just like your costs. So like, yeah, you're going to make a certain amount of money, but you do still have overhead, aka things that you have to pay for. So it's not exactly like you take everything that you make, right? I was about to say he doesn't have any overhead at all because he's not employing anybody to create this content, right? But actually, I feel like people who are generating this AI content do have massive overhead. They're just not the ones paying it. If you are generating $40,000 to $60,000 a month in revenue, just because you are not the one who is also having to pay the price for it doesn't actually mean it's not costing anybody. When this is largely plagiarized content, obviously, when this is also bad for the environment and using up all of these resources and stuff, probably the overhead for generating this much content is insane. It's just not something that he would have to ever think about, I guess. And that's what makes it really, really annoying to think about. Someone said something is off about this story. The numbers are inflated. I mean, definitely, like, it's hard to say. Obviously, it's in the AI company's best interest to have us all believe that we can all be making 700K a year or whatever. But let me tell you, also just being a creator and being in creator spaces, I don't think the numbers are actually as inflated as they sound because I'm aware of people who are just generating entire channels at this point because they have so many channels. That's the thing. If you pointed to one AI channel and were like, oh, hey, this is making all this money, I wouldn't believe that, right? I would be like, okay, that's probably not true. But listen, if you're telling somebody I have 5 channels and they're generating $40,000 a month, that's not really as insane as it sounds because that's literally like $8,000 a month per channel on average. So it's not the fact that you can spin up one channel and become like an AI millionaire. There is just no limit to how much content you can create. And that is why people are making so much money. Anyways, someone said, doesn't the article say he employs teams overseas? Oh, does he also have, hold on. Sorry, I have a bunch of articles open. Is that in here? I haven't gotten down here yet. I wouldn't be surprised though if he has assistants. I'm going to control F for overseas. Or just, I guess, assistants. Okay, wait, I'm not seeing it in this article specifically. But that doesn't mean it's not here. Hold on, I might be missing it. Because he did spin it up into like a whole channel. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has help at this point. Blah, 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 blah. Blah, 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 blah. But regardless, like, this is kind of how people are running channels now. You know, and the thing is too, like, I do still have help. Someone said I review these before the video. Okay, hold on a second. Y'all are making fun of me for saying that I read the articles before the video. I'm about to defend myself. Let me defend myself a little bit. I just closed every single tab that I had open. And I'm going to open a new series of tabs. Hold on. Y'all got to give me the benefit of the doubt here a little bit. Because I know, like, the streams are pretty laid back. But I'm trying, y'all. When I'm out here pulling up, let's see. We've got Lil Michaela. I can't even pull that up because I'm signed out of Instagram. We've got Lil Michaela out here talking about, you know, the sexual assault vlog, which is insane. I have the original tweet source for that pulled up. I have like the background stuff for Lil Michaela, this, that, the other. I'm literally keeping all of this in my short-term memory as I go through my streams. I'm over here talking about BBC articles and why I like the BBC articles better than the other ones. I'm over here talking about travel influencers and like why brands are no longer paying because they don't have to actually, you know, eat the costs that they were giving to real people. So when I do get to, say, this Fortune article and I'm like, oh, I missed a point from this, I did definitely review it. By the way, I have like more sources in here that we haven't even gone over. I'm trying, y'all. I'm trying not to create purely slop brain rot content. But yeah, no, I totally miss points sometimes just because like it's a lot. It's a lot of information. But I feel like that's why people watch me as well. Because like I'm at least decent at presenting all of this information. So it's a lot for sure. No, it's a lot. I take it seriously. I'm going to stop talking down on myself so much because I feel like for as much overconfidence as I have and portray on the platform, I do get really insecure sometimes about like, oh my gosh, what if this content is just garbage? And what if I'm not even trying to make good content? But I really am trying to make good content, bro. I really am. But no, please do make fun of me because I'm like, how am I going to pull up an article and then forget 50% of what was in it just because I have too many other points that I was trying to make? But y'all know what I mean. Someone said, are you arguing with yourself? I am constantly arguing with myself. Actually, I feel like that's more of like, sorry to blame everything on ADHD. I don't want to do that, but that's more of an ADHD thing. I am in a constant dialogue with myself of like making up. And that's also anxiety as well. Anxiety plus ADHD means I am always arguing. If I do anything, I'm eating ice cream, I'm like, you're probably eating that ice cream weird. And then I'm like, how can you eat ice cream weird? And who would ever care about the way that I'm eating ice cream? And then it's like, why did you even buy that ice cream when you could have probably gotten it from somewhere that was like more ethical? I'm always arguing with myself. It's painful, actually. And then usually I run out of ice cream. And so then I forget everything that I was saying as I go find the next source of dopamine. But yeah, it's like, it's cute to be in my brain sometimes, but not all the time. Not all the time. Sometimes it's pretty awful to have multiple mental disorders and illnesses and stuff, but like, we're thriving. We're thriving. I used to be really ashamed to be like, oh yeah, I have depression, anxiety, ADHD, and also PTSD low key, because I was like, how can one person have all these things? Like, but then I was like, you know what? I just do. I just do. And I'm still out here doing my best. So a lot of us have it. There's really truly nothing to be ashamed of, I guess, despite what anxiety and depression may be telling me. I used to be really scared of coming across, because I was ableist. I want to make that really clear. Despite having disabilities, I was ableist. And I really didn't want to come across as a Tumblr bio, right? Which is such loaded and ugly language for me to have even thoughts. But I had a lot of self-hatred. I was like, I don't want to just be like a list of these things, and I don't want people to perceive me this way. But actually, nowadays, I think I've really made peace with a lot of that and tried to let go of the hate that was instilled in me by society for people who have, say, a laundry list of disorders or disabilities or whatever. And now I'm actually quite proud. I'm quite proud to be neurodivergent and be like, but I'm also still kind of killing it, and there's nothing to be ashamed of. I'm working on that internal ableism, because it goes crazy. It goes crazy. And then like, it does like a fusion dance. Fusion, when you're a person of color. Because like, you think society hates mental illness already? Bro, being black, and not just being black either, but there's so many flavors of POC that you can be, where people will also hate mental illness for other reasons. And then it's just like, it combines into this insane thing that I've been struggling to let go. But it's 2026. I'm 27 years old. I'm not bringing all that nonsense with me into the new year. I don't care if it's coming from my brain or the community or a larger, it's just crazy. Someone said internal ableism does go crazy. It does. It makes me feel bad for existing. But no, be proud to just be yourself. It's okay to have mental illnesses and disabilities, or to not have them. Being neurodivergent or neurotypical doesn't matter. I mean, it matters a lot, obviously, but y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. Someone said I relate. Thank you. Thank you for, seeing my point. But anyways, I've got a little distracted. So you get my point. People are making buku money from AI slop. They are turning it into an entire business that brands are more willing to pay for than they are willing to pay actual people, because the machine never actually sleeps. The machine can never actually get tired or miss a sponsorship for a brand deal. Or essentially, it can never really be in a controversy, right? Like, there's so much incentive to fund this content. Even though the people consuming it are not actually paying attention to it, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Someone said, how long have you been live? I've been live for 1 hour, 32 minutes, and 37 seconds. According to my software. Someone said they thought it wasn't live. Wait. Okay, I promise I'm not making fun of you. Did you actually think this was a recorded video right now? Because like, you forgot that it was live. I find that to be really, really, really funny. No judgment. That's 100% something I would do. I just find that to be hilarious, because like, my worst nightmare is that y'all click into my normal videos and I am this disorganized. I love being this disorganized on the live stream. It's really fun. I think it makes for a really good live stream content, but I promise you, you will never catch me talking about archive of our own, ableism within POC communities. AI issues, and what else have I even talked about in this? So many things in like a 90-minute period. I promise you, we are live as hell. We are live as hell right now. Someone said the production quality makes it look like it. Well, that's true too. That's true too. I stream good, y'all. My stream looks beautiful. It's so high quality in terms of like audio and visual. I almost can't blame you because I wanted it to feel exactly like my videos, but no, trust. We're gonna edit this into something that makes more sense. We're gonna make it make so much more sense. Someone said it doesn't feel disorganized. I feel like I have controlled disorganization. I like the way in which I'm disorganized because I feel like it works for y'all. And when it doesn't work, I can cut it into something that's a little better. Anyways, this last one is for the YouTube people because I already told y'all about this. I've talked about this on stream before, but for those who are just watching videos, I don't think y'all saw this source right here. More than 20% of videos shown to new YouTube users are AI slop, right? So this is actually The Guardian kind of going through this Kapwing report, which funnily enough, Kapwing makes AI video generation software as well. So I'm not even sure if they're a good source. But that being said, listen, they did some good research and they came to the conclusion that, they did some good research and they came to the conclusion that if you just make a new account on the platform, in their experience, 1 out of 5 videos that you're going to get are fake. Everybody who consumes YouTube content is in a bubble, obviously. Y'all are in the commentary / drama commentary bubble, whatever you want to call it, with me here right now. And I like it here in the bubble. But when you don't go outside the bubble, it actually gets kind of hard to realize, like, the proliferation of this stuff is insane. Just because your feed, hopefully, is a little better than 1 out of 5 videos being AI. This is what YouTube is okay promoting to people who are first joining the platform. And when you're consuming this content, not knowing what it is, and the algorithm's like, oh, you're totally fine with this, it's going to start going up and up and up and up. So this Kapwing, I clicked the wrong link. This Kapwing thing, which I'm not going to get into again, it basically just showed that like millions and millions of people are subscribing to these AI channels. This is happening all over the world. This is definitely not like, oh, let's have a contest to say this country's got more. Nah, we all failed. You in Spain? Spain is going through it right now. You in Egypt? You're not getting real videos. You're in the United States of America? And also, this isn't even comprehensive because this was just them going to Social Blade and looking at the top channels. So if they weren't even, these are the ones that were immediately identifiable as AI. If you actually start getting into content that Kapwing may not have even been able to identify as AI generated, there's actually no way of quantifying how many people are watching this or subscribe to this content. Someone said I always see those Gen AI music videos. We're going to get into that in a second. Briefly. Because I have something to say about the Gen AI music. Don't get me started. Someone said I'm going back to work. Thank you for a good discussion. Hey, you better kill it at work, but don't kill it too hard. Do not give these people more than 80%. But you're doing great. And I hope you enjoy the video when it comes out later. Someone said I can't even watch a TikTok without questioning if it's real or not. That's valid. It's understandable because when the proliferation has gotten to this point, I keep getting rid of this tab. Why am I so bad? It's understandable because when it's 1 out of 5, how are you even supposed to know? Hold on, I got to pull that back up. Okay, here it is. I found you. Yeah, no, like, so this picture is so stupid. And this is the kind of thing where if this wasn't AI, I would love it. I would find it hilarious. Cat bodybuilder arrested. That's stupid. But like, animate it with your hands. Animation doesn't even have to be good. I feel like all animation is good. That might sound contradictory. It's really not. I don't know why like any and every little idea that anybody has, you just want to type it up into an engine and get it spit back out at you. But But yeah, no, The Guardian basically is breaking down. They've done their own analysis saying that 10% of YouTube's fastest growing channels are AI slop, despite the platform's quote unquote efforts to curb inauthentic content. And don't get me started on YouTube's efforts to curb AI generated content. YouTube, if you're watching this, I love you. Okay. YouTube, if you're watching this video, which you really shouldn't be, you should be watching so many other videos that I think you should be paying a little bit more attention to, because there's some legitimately unhinged and insane content on your platform. But if you're watching this, I love you so much, but y'all are lying. y'all are definitely saying like, oh, we're gonna try not to monetize AI content, and we're gonna try to make sure that not just anybody can spin up a channel. And yeah, they are dinging the people who would be making, I think, like the least amount of money with this. However, they are simultaneously rolling out so many AI products of their own, right? I've mentioned this on stream before. YouTube wants to do this portraits thing. Google Portraits. So this is a Google product, AI product, that essentially turns you into a chatbot version of yourself. Why talk to Kim Scott, life coach, when you can just talk to Kim Scott's avatar, right? They're not only getting into this stuff, but they're trying to shoehorn it. YouTube ads, Google Portraits. I might not even be able to find this because it was like buried. It was literally buried within a blog post. Here we go. I found it. Thank you, socialmediatoday.com. Don't ever let YouTube tell you that they're trying to curb the AI platform on their content. They're trying to curb the content that they feel like they don't stand to gain. Or they're trying to curb the content that they feel like they don't stand to profit from. But when it comes to like, oh yeah, we want to turn all of y'all into AI versions of yourself. We want you to click into a D'Angelo video and it's some AI me on this pink background, which people already think is AI generated. YouTube is an op, okay? You're not going to sit here and like PR wash yourselves into seeming like, oh my gosh, like people are posting all this AI stuff on our platform and we're so sad. Nah, bro, absolutely not. Why does YouTube want to turn me into a robot avatar? Just so that you have unlimited access to me? I find it to be quite violating, actually. I find it to be really, really strange. But that's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Someone says I would never trust my likeness with anything Gen AI related when they're out here making child sexual assault material with Grok. Yeah, exactly. I don't want just like willing. Well, unfortunately, just due to me having a lot of content of myself on the internet, I'm already in those algorithms. Unfortunately, right? But like, I don't want that. I don't want that for me. Someone said it is violating. It is. It's gross. It's nasty. YouTube, what the heck, man? Gosh. But I have to make sure that I don't say like the wrong bad word in the video or I'm going to get demonetized. But making a fake version of me that will never, ever, ever upset an advertiser? Fair game, apparently. Nasty. Why did my chat disconnect? Uh-oh. Wait, are y'all still there? Oh, I'm back. Hey, let's go. Someone said I hate AI, call me a boomer, but take me back to dial-up internet days. Dial-up internet is fun though. Like the sounds that it makes, it was slightly before my time, but I've heard dial-up internet and I'm like, bring that back just because it sounds fun. Oh, someone said it was getting choppy. Boo. Boo. Hold on. I'm finna do a speed test. I'm gonna show y'all what we're working with here. Y'all make me mad. Not y'all. Y'all being my internet service provider. Okay, wait. This isn't gonna dox me, is it? All right, let's see. No, how dare y'all? Listen, I pay good money for that good internet. I mean, this isn't really like amazing internet per se. But let me tell you right now, that's crispy. That's crispy, okay? That's an internet speed test with me currently broadcasting to the internet right now. Look at that. It says my internet. Oh, it says I'm in North Charleston. I'm not. I am in North Carolina though. Your internet connection is very fast. It should be able to handle multiple devices streaming HD videos, video conferencing, and gaming at the same time. Don't fail me now, Google Fiber. Wait a second. Why did Google Fiber start acting up the moment I started talking smack about YouTube's AI policies? That's suspicious. That's weird. I don't know. I'm kidding. Obviously, I don't think Google got mad at me and made my internet bad. I'm just saying that's a little strange. That's a little bizarre, if you ask me personally. So it said it could be a YouTube issue. Yeah, streaming is hard because you never know like where in the chain something's going wrong. But hey, it seems like we're not dealing with any lag now, so I'm happy. Do you remember that song? Because I'm happy. Dude, that song was so overplayed, but I liked it. I liked it for like a month. I feel like I like almost every song for a month before it gets overplayed. But then when I can't escape the song, it turns into my worst nightmare. Also, it wasn't even that brief, but I worked a job where I was constantly exposed to the radio. And let me just tell y'all, the absolute hell of not being able to control your playlist for 8 hours at a time, I feel like that might actually do some sort of mild psychological damage. Like, I'm not comparing this to like, oh, you have actual trauma or whatever. I think the smallest T trauma, lowercase, super lowercase, I think it is mildly traumatic to hear like pop radio for the 200th time. Well, it feels like the 200th time in a week. It's so... Someone said that's why I can't stand Let It Go. Literally, anytime you've done any sort of retail or like service work, I was in the gas station. Interesting time. Whatever songs they played on the radio, I would just ruined forever. There's like this U2 song that I can't listen to anymore. Love is Stronger Than Anything in Its Way. I think that's U2. I was not strong enough to withstand hearing that song for the 30th time. So it's very torturous. It is. It really, really is. It's a mild thing, but like mild things still matter a lot. Anyway, I have the final boss. Of AI influencers that I wanted to get into, which is this AI grandma who I am so pissed off at for essentially jacking my entire flow. She is the reason people ask me if my content or my background is AI generated. Because if you go to, what is her name? Granny Spills or whatever. Let me see. She's doing this whole like massive pink thing in the back. Oh my gosh. Instagram, please, for the love of God. I don't want to log in. Why is it so hard to use the internet sometimes? Hold on. Okay, I finally got back in. I don't even know how. Yeah, no. Look at this. She is jacking my entire flow. Now, granted, I'm pretty sure this account existed before I did. But that doesn't matter because this account is plagiarism. she's jacking my entire flow with this pink thing because I feel like it looks so liminal and fake. And that is like why when you see something that looks like this, people are like, oh my gosh, D'Angelo left for 14 months and came back with something that looks like AI or whatever. Liminal aesthetics existed before the rise of Gen AI. And when you hear like the barely contained rage in my voice, it's not directed at you. I am never actually going to get mad at a viewer for wanting to ensure that the things they're watching are real. I am furious at AI for taking something that is a completely valid way of being and turning it into something where people just feel like they're looking at things that aren't real. Look, I'm going to show y'all. I couldn't show it to you last time because I wasn't logged in to OneDrive, but I'm going to show you my initial concepts for this background that I made, even though it's really ugly. I put a lot of work into my stuff, actually. Hold on, let's see. Oh, here it is. This is so insanely ugly. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. Okay, wait. I'm gonna download it, I guess. That way I don't have to share my entire OneDrive with you all, because that's not something I want to do, actually. All right. Y'all, look. This is my background. Or this is the first version of my background. It's real ugly, but as you can see, all the things are there. We got the chair. We got the statue of David. I pointed in the wrong direction. We got the chair. We got the statue of David. We got the window in the background. I created this using a tool called Photoshop. Photoshop. This is a skill that some people still have. Because I've been editing thumbnails on YouTube for 7 years or whatever, I'm actually pretty decent at Photoshopping something. So I was able to Photoshop this and then send it off to an actual studio, right? A whole studio. I don't remember what studio I sent it to. Wait, hold on. I might not even be able to find them. Interior visualization, blah 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 blah. Whatever. I'm not going to be able to find it. But listen, this is a whole thing that you can pay people to do. Real human beings, right? You can send them awful little mock-ups, and they, using CGI tools, will actually be able to create things for you that look fairly realistic. I mean, obviously my background doesn't look exactly like something you would see in real life, because I told them to make everything pink. And then I made it look like dreamy and liminal and this, that, the other. But like, it's so annoying, I guess, that I had to, number one, rely on my skill, right? My personal skill of learning how to Photoshop things and just having an eye for things that I think would look good. Number two, I had to spend some coin. I had to spend some money. I couldn't just tell these people like, oh, hey, yeah, do this for me because I am this guy on YouTube. Y'all know the vast majority of people don't know what commentary YouTube is, right? I'm literally just some guy. So this wasn't a freebie. This came out of my pocket, but I was like, it's gonna look so cool. It's gonna look so cool. So I do that, and then I edit the photo that they give me to make it look even nicer in the background and kind of give that aesthetic, just to get hit with the AI allegations. Because of people like this. So when I get mad, it ain't at y'all. It's not you. I'm mad at Granny Spills and her fake AI pink sort of weird fantasy thing that she's trying to create here. Also, mine looks cooler. That's objective. It's a fact. I will accept no arguments here. That I think overall I came up with something that was a little less egregious to look at. I feel like when you look at this, it's literally just like, it's everywhere. It's all over the place. You know what I mean? Sorry, Granny. Like, this isn't even the same shade of... Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. Don't piss me off. It takes so much work to create things that people enjoy looking at. It takes a lot of work to create things that people enjoy looking at. And whereas that's not even a perk of my job, like getting this microphone custom, mic arm custom wrapped in like this matte pink thread, just so it doesn't look super ugly and dark against the background. Like, are you kidding? I have nothing but honestly like bad things to say about Granny Spills and her 2 million followers who will never understand how much work goes into generating one picture with your brain, with your skill, your physical skill. So yeah, I guess that's how I'll end this video. Don't go anywhere yet, because the video's not over. But I guess my final point will be like, I made every single little background you ever saw. I've made every single, anytime you've seen something in a video and you're like, oh, I like the theme of this, I either made it or I paid for it. One of the two. One of the two, because I think that artwork is so important. And I think it's so important to have content that is nice to look at. I mean, if my background was just like, I don't know, this, I feel like it would still be fine or whatever. But it's just so important to me. It's so important to me. So yeah, I will never, ever, 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 ever let y'all get away with this. Anyway, people are asking me what happened to David, the statue of Dave. I didn't want to have to talk about this publicly, even though I've already talked about this publicly. So for those who don't know, Dave and I go way back. He used to be a pretty important part of my videos, right? Actually, I'll show you what I mean. Let me pull up just one of my old videos. All right, here I am in the background, or here's this. So this is Dave right here. Next to my arm. Yes, that's me with the hair. Don't worry about it. I was a different person. Dave used to be very, very real. Hold on, chat's covering him a little bit. Okay, there we go. He so many comments in my videos were about Dave. Now granted, we've had our ups and downs, right? There was the one time that he asked for like 50% of the revenue share, and I was like, that's a little crazy when you're just in the background and you don't say anything because you're an inanimate object. But I still complied. I still went with it. I started paying the statue 50% of the money I was making from the videos. But the final straw was when I announced my comeback, and Dave was like, I want to debut as a virtual avatar. So this is Dave. Again, he's not AI, right? This is still CGI created by the studio that I hired to make my background, but he's not real anymore. He became a tech bro. He's trying to be a virtual influencer. That's why I haven't been mentioning Dave, because I'm trying not to give him attention. That's the main thing that you should be doing with these virtual influencers. Don't pay them any attention. But yeah, that's the really, really sad story of my recording partner becoming a virtual avatar. Someone said, and you replaced him. I don't feel like I replaced him. I feel like I complied with his wishes. That's the thing. Like, you want to be a virtual avatar? There you go. Knock yourself out. You can't. You're not a physical object anymore. I'm so sad. I'm so sad. Someone said Dave is an NFT. He's an NFT now. I'm just not going to sell him to you. Sell him to you? Speaking of archive of our own in Wattpad. Anyways, one thing that I want you all to know is that this is only going to get worse as time goes on. It's actually going to get so much worse because this is another thing that I've already shared before. Okay. We've gone over this, but this is for all the people watching the video after the fact. It is getting indistinguishable. So here you have some really strange guy trying to use AI to generate the hottest yoga pants lady, which right off the bat is very creepy. But people on Reddit are literally having to ask, like, is this even real or not? Because these are both AI generated. They're open image in new tab. Why doesn't Reddit let you ever open an image in a new tab? Whoa, okay, hold on. Slow down, Reddit. I ain't trying to get a strike over some AI generated boobies. I feel like that would be such a sad way of going out. If y'all actually think I was going to put all this work into my comeback and then get in trouble because I clicked a button and flashed everybody with some AI generated, you know what? No, absolutely not. Anyways, bro, that would have pissed me off so bad. Anyways, all this to say, the one on the left is like also AI, and it doesn't look it at all. How do I make this picture bigger without making it 5 million times larger? Okay, there we go. I fixed it. Hey, okay, yeah. It's so creepy. It's so creepy. Like the one on the right, they're both creepy, obviously. I feel like the one on the right is obviously AI. Nobody looks like that at the gym, okay? Or if y'all do, drop your routine. Obviously, you're not going to have a full beat face and look super glowy and like you just finished your skincare routine and all this, that, the other going on when you just finished. But the one on the left, When I tell you, it literally just looks like some lady. I think that's the worst thing that could have possibly happened, was that AI images stopped looking like, that one. I already forgot her name. Zala, the blonde one that the New York Post was salivating over. Or was that the New York Post? And when it starts looking like just your average Joe, I feel like that is when we're really getting into some dicey territory. It's so creepy. I personally wouldn't even believe the left one was AI if someone hadn't said it was. I feel like, what about this actually indicates it being fake? It sucks so bad. It is so bad. But yeah, that's my happy news for you. Everything is only gonna get worse really fast. Yay? Question mark? But that being said, if I could just leave you with any advice, just block it. People cannot make $1,600 in 4 days if you're blocking their content. They cannot make $700,000 a year passively if you are just doing everything within your power to stop it from crossing your feed and to try not to give it clicks and this, that, the other. I think for the most part, I was able to get through most of this video without actually like streaming anybody's AI content in a way where they would get views from it. You know what I mean? But yeah, please be a real person. I'll try to be a real person as well. All right, everyone, buckle in, because we're going to record the outro, but then we're going to keep streaming, actually. But I need to record the outro so I can get this video in the works and everybody can watch it and have fun with it. But anyway, hopefully you never have to think about AI again, even though I know that's not the truth. But yeah, I recorded this video live right here on YouTube, where actually I stream quite a bit on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 12 p.m. Eastern time. Unless I don't. In which case, I am probably just sleeping. I just didn't come to work that day. And honestly, that's on you, not me. Anyways, I hope to see you in the next streamer video. And if not, it doesn't really matter. Bye. All right. Stay right where you are, because we're still streaming. We still got stuff to talk about. I want to talk about Barbie with autism. Did anybody hear about Barbie with autism? Okay, here's the thing. I don't have autism. So as somebody who is not autistic, right? I'm not actually here to give you a yes, no, right, wrong. I don't really think that's my place at all. I more so just kind of want to talk about this because it's interesting. And I saw that people were kind of polarized by the existence of artistic Barbie. All right. So right off the bat, I'm not actually, this is not a video. This is not like me making points. I'm just talking about this with y'all. Right off the bat, I feel like the general idea of like, oh, a child having a doll that represents them isn't something that, I'm dunking on by any means. I think I am always going to be really, really, really critical of any company who's like really proud of themselves of like, oh yeah, we're doing like representation and this, that, the other. But basically what they did was they partnered with ASAN, which is Autism Self-Advocacy Network, I believe. And so it's notable that they partnered with ASAN and not Autism Speaks. One thing I do know is I'm constantly seeing autistic people saying Autism Speaks is not it. I've seen a lot of people say it's not it. And I believe you. I believe you that it's not it. So they did not partner with Autism Speaks. They partnered with ASAN. And they basically tried to make all of these like small changes to Barbie, where basically they gave her like elbow and wrist articulation so she can stim. You know what I mean? The eye gaze is not like 100% straight on. I feel like most Barbies are staring directly down the barrel of the camera, right? What else did they give her? They gave her accessories like a fidget spinner, headphones, and an AAC device, which I did think was interesting. I do feel like if it was literally just Barbie with a fidget spinner, I would have been like, y'all. But no, it's not just the one thing. It's not just the one thing that they gave her. And then they did their best to give her what they believe was like a sensory sensitive dress, essentially. Now, granted, this is me going off of what Mattel's PR is saying, right? This is not me hyping them up or this, that, the other. If I could say anything about Barbie with autism, I would like to say, I think she's really cute. I think if I could separate this for a second from like the capitalist like minefield it is to even try to discuss this, I think it's really cute. Just has a doll in a vacuum. That being said, I saw a lot of people who just did not feel great about Mattel getting all of this positive PR for essentially selling more products to people, and the ease of which they could do that. I did also see a lot of people saying that they loved it though. And I don't really think it's right to just discount, people for that. People are asking, what's her name? Does Barbie have a name other than Barbie? I think they're just saying she's a Barbie doll. Unless I'm mistaken. If she has a name that is not Barbie, I thought, wait, chat, are all the Barbies not Barbie? Because you're about to blow my mind if you're telling me that there are non-Barbie Barbies. I thought this was just Barbie. Wait, ever since I was a kid, I thought that Barbie... Sorry, because I'm now realizing that I'm stupid. I thought Barbie could just be like black if she so chose, or like I thought that the black Barbies were Barbie. Or that she could be, I think this one is like South Asian, if I'm not mistaken. I thought that was all her. Some of them have names. Oh, it's like the song. It's like the song. Jazzy, Stacy, Nikki. Although the Barbies is pretty, although the Barbies is bad, 8 girls, and we ain't playing tag. Okay. Don't ask me how I didn't realize that like those were Barbie incarnations. Raquel? Okay, no, I know Raquel because she's hilarious. Sometimes I just watch compilations of funny Raquel moments. But like, as far as the actual dolls themselves, it did not dawn on me that Jazzy, Stacy, and Nikki could also be acquired. Okay, well, that being said, if this Barbie has a name, I don't really have one for her to give you. There's just Barbie, who also happens to have autism. So that being said, like, I kind of want to kick it to y'all. Especially, that does not have a U in it. Especially if y'all have autism. I know some of y'all do. Y'all can't lie. Y'all can't hide. Do y'all have opinions on this? I don't have a super strong one because I really genuinely don't think it's very useful for me to have one. Someone said maybe she's just Barbie. Yeah, she might just be Barbie. Someone said the dolls are... Hold on, I want to highlight this one. I kind of want to go through some of these opinions one by one. The dolls are going to keep getting sold. I would rather have some inclusivity on the way. I do sort of feel... Wait, someone's clocking me for quoting Nicki Minaj. Chat. I don't support Nicki Minaj just because I said Jazzy, Stacy, Nikki, all the Barbies is pretty, all the Barbies is bad, 8 girls, and they ain't playing tag. Okay. I'm not a Nicki Minaj supporter just because sometimes you may hear me say something about starships being meant to fly, just because sometimes you might hear me quoting things that were burned into my subconscious. It doesn't make me a supporter. I just have recall, and sometimes things pop up into my head. Obviously I ain't a Nicki stan in today's day and age because that would be wild. Anyways, getting back to the topic at hand, I sort of see the idea of like thinking like, oh, people are going to sell the dolls anyway, therefore if you are, you may as well have some representation. However, I see this one right here that says, as an ADHDer, so you have autism and ADHD, question mark, I'm making sure I'm not misrepresenting you. I hate anything that tries to make money off of my existence without doing anything to actually help us. I feel like that's an extremely valid take as well, though. And that being said, like, I definitely don't see any sort of like the money from this is going to, help these other people. I feel like that would have been so easy. Would that not have been like the easiest thing to like launch a special edition. Oh, I pressed the wrong button. Would that not have been the easiest thing to like launch a special edition Barbie and then also support groups that are helping people? I don't know. That's personally how I would have done it if I was gonna launch any sort of special edition thing. But it seems like all of the value, or the vast majority of the value for this is being generated is just going back into Mattel's pocket. And so I feel like feeling really uncool about that is very valid. Very, 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 very valid. Someone said, but D'Angelo agreed. Yeah, exactly. The reason that I can't sit here and be like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever and this is amazing is because like, it's still PR. Now, I guess the main question it raises is like, does everybody who has autism feel like it's at their expense? No, because I totally saw people saying like, oh, I would like this, or I would buy this for myself, or I, would like this for my kid. My child would like this, that, the other. It's just still really annoying that it still has to be essentially more money for the money machine. I'm reading chat. Someone said, I feel unsure about it personally, but then I sort of think about the thousands of young kids, which Barbie is the target audience for now, that will see this and feel seen, and that makes me happy. I will say that too. I think this is a really great candidate for multiple things can be true. It can very much be true that it is a cash grab that is actually using aspects of people's identity to release something like this without even paying anybody to help with this, unless I'm wrong, unless they are partnering in ways that I don't understand, but I'm not seeing that aspect. I don't want to misrepresent, but I feel like it is also true that if you just as a kid are seeing Barbie having like ear defender devices or using an AAC tablet to communicate, and you think to yourself like, oh, that's dope. That's great. And the things that I'm doing are normal. I feel like that is not a bad thing, even if it happened in a way that was really annoying. And it was ultimately not a good thing in the grand scheme of things. I do feel like it's totally fine to be like, this is still probably cool for many people. Someone said, the fidget spinner killed me though. Yeah, I do feel like there was totally, y'all could have gone like any direction in terms of like there being a fidget toy, going with like the one. But then then again too, like people do use fidget spinners though. It's so interesting. Someone said maybe her special interest is fidget spinners. Maybe so. Someone said, yeah, it is stereotypical, but what about those who fit the stereotype? I mean, that's true too, because if I do start listening to things and I'm like, okay, so we have a Barbie, she wears loose clothing and she has headphones, you know what I mean? And she uses these fidget toys and she fidgets a lot. Like, those things do still apply to many people who may feel represented by this. So I guess it's like, it's kind of hard for me to just be like, oh, you have stereotyped. It's me who doesn't have autism because I'm just some guy. For me to be like, oh, y'all stereotyped autism. And the thing is too, like, if I read their description, it says it was created with guidance from the autistic community to represent common ways autistic people may experience, process, and communicate about the world around them, inviting more children to see themselves represented in Barbie. So I do feel like if they were like, this is the blueprint right here, this is the one way that anybody can have autism, and anything outside of that is not, valid or whatever, I would have been like, yo, that's crazy. But it does seem more of like, hey, by hitting these points, can we broadly make people from this group feel like maybe some aspect of their, the way they experience things is represented? It's so interesting. Someone said, I kind of like this because it really raises awareness of autism in girls, which is heavily overlooked. That's true too, though. I feel like having just an autistic girl doll at all is pretty, I guess, like, so much of autism in women goes undiagnosed, right? And it just gets labeled all these other things. And so then you wind up kind of not getting resources that could help you. And you wind up getting judged for things that are not your fault. And this, that, the other, undiagnosed, misdiagnosed, etc. And so there being a canonical girl toy that, like, yes, she does have autism. I think that's pretty cool. That's just my opinion. Someone said, that's why I hate the argument that stereotypes should never be part of inclusion. The stereotypical marginalized person is still a person who exists. But I mean, now we're getting into really, really really complex territory. Because let me tell y'all something. I'm going to talk about being black for a second. I'm out here listening to rap music, right? Randomly spitting rap lyrics in conversation. I'm out here doing... I live in North Carolina now. There's more black people here than I ever seen, and I'm living for it, right? But like, I guess it really depends on who is making those points about me. So I feel like if people outside the black community are going to be like, oh, you listen to rap music and you do all these other things and you point out racism when it comes out and this, that, the other. Yeah, I'm probably going to feel like, okay, I'm being stereotyped right now. However, I do still like totally share a culture with so many people. And I feel like it's a really tricky thing where it's like, I feel like if it was just Mattel by themselves saying like, oh yeah, we made an autistic Barbie doll, Barbie with autism, and we've decided that these are all these things that make it seem like she has autism. But instead of doing that, I feel like partnering with ASAN, right, the Autism Self-Advocacy Network, to kind of get feedback on things that they think maybe you can see yourself in, I feel like that's a better move than just broadly making things up and not asking anybody in that target demographic. That's the thing. You can say black people love rap music all you want, but ask me about it. Let me tell you why. That's how I feel. Anyways, one thing, someone said, dang, you got to visit ATL if you want to see a black utopia. Almost, I want to go to so many black cities, actually. Like all of them. I want to get litty. But no, all this to say, like, that's basically it. I think online too, like, you're super incentivized to have really strong reactions to things, especially me as a creator. I feel like there is probably a bag to be had if I was just like, oh yeah, I'm going to present this in a really extreme way, even though I personally don't have a super strong opinion on it. But I feel like some things I want to talk about with y'all while realizing that y'all probably have more insight on it than I do. Someone said, I think it's a slippery slope and should be handled with care regardless. Yeah. Those are my two opinions. Just so nobody says like, oh, he's fence sitting. I ain't fence sitting. My opinion essentially is like, I'm still going to side eye any company who is like, oh yes, we partnered with this group of people who are marginalized to sell you something. That's objective. They have done this. And so this isn't something that I think needs to be like hyped up when essentially like asking people for their feedback on things before trying to make money from them is the actual bare minimum. However, at the same time, I think it's super lit that some little girl is going to see like Barbie with headphones and feel less ostracized, othered, wrong, this, that, the other. I think that's really cool. I wish it could happen in a way that has nothing to do with capitalism. But when there are already so many other Barbies that have various just aspects about them, like I think they had like diabetic Barbie at one point. I think I saw someone in chat say they had like albino Barbie. Because we are already doing this, I feel like doing it in a way that makes more people feel included. I'm happy for those kids. But also Mattel, y'all ain't slick. And that's my opinion. That's my opinion on Barbie with autism. I tried. Somebody said I left for half an hour. How did we get here? That's why my streams are so good. Because you leave half an hour ago and I'm over here ranting and raging about like AI influencers and this, that, the other. You go live your life and touch grass as you should, and then you come back and it's like we're all talking about what if Barbie had autism and the pros and cons of that. I think that's hilarious. This is why I love streaming so much. You can't write this stuff. You can't force it to happen. I just follow I follow the flow. Anyways, enough about Barbie for now, and thank you all for talking about that with me. Thank you for not jumping on me. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. I do like if you're not careful online, honestly. I've noticed a new thing, or something that I consider to be a newer thing, is like people will get mad at you for not hating something hard enough. And so I feel like just because I did not immediately come into this like, Mattel, you're profiting off of, you know, people who want to feel represented, and you're not even giving them any money in the process. I feel like it's hard to point out anything positive about scenarios in which multiple things are true, because people get so quick to tell you that, like, this is bad, and why are we defending Mattel now, and why are we defending corporations, and this, that, the other. It's kind of what I was talking about in like the first video I posted when I came back. Like, y'all, I'm not defending corporations. They can really truly kick rocks. I do still just think, like, kids with autism do still exist, and having dolls that they feel maybe more represented by isn't a bad thing, even if like there were all these other aspects. So I appreciate being able to say things like this without getting absolutely jumped. I don't want to get jumped because I have opinions, and I'm trying not to lie to y'all and perform outrage. Do you know, there is really a bag to be had as a commentary creator. Not naming names, it's not important at all. I see a lot of newer creators fall into this trap where, like, all you really have to do is like perform other people's outrage, even if you're not really mad about the thing that you're talking about. If I came on here and I'm like, yo, Mattel can, you know, get bent. Can you say get bent? Is that like insane? Did I curse? I don't know what get bent means. Am I repeat? Is that like on the law? I don't know what it means, actually. It means get lost. I don't know wait, that's the AI explaining. I don't want to take the AI's explanation. I have no idea how severe of a saying that is. But anyways, all I'm saying is, like, if I came onto this stream and I was like, yo, Mattel, you can kick rocks. I hate you, and how dare you, you know, profit off of these people. I feel like it can come across as really invalidating to people who are just like, but like, I sort of thought she was cute though. You know what I mean? It comes across as really invalidating when you're constantly performing outrage over things that you're not even mad about. I'm not upset over this, and it would be really, really disingenuous for me to sit here and pretend I am. But that doesn't mean we can't have a conversation about it. Someone said get bent means get out of here. Can I start saying that? Does it have some sort of history I don't know about? Because I feel like I'm going to start using it. Someone said get bent is very mild. Kick rocks is basically the same. Okay, yeah. If you hear me say so-and-so could get bent like 15,000 times over the course of the year, I love ways of like saying things that are bad without cursing. I know, listen, can we talk about cursing on YouTube for a second? Can we talk about cursing in general for a second? Number one, YouTube is ridiculous about cursing. I should totally be able to say, or just speak like I do normally, without getting demonetized for talking the way that honestly many people speak. That being said, what initially started off as me trying to comply with demonetization rules kind of turned into, like, most of the times when I'm making content, I don't really feel the need to curse, because someone said, do you ever curse? Yeah, I do. In real life, absolutely. You hear me stub my toe? I'm not gonna say, oh gee willikers, guys, that one was a doozy. I'm just gonna curse because it hurt. And sometimes things hurt, and sometimes I get pissed off. However, the benefit to having an online presence that is fairly cussing free is that if I ever was actually to drop an F-bomb, it's literally going to be like cataclysmic. If I was to come on YouTube someday, sit down in a chair and say, you know what, first of all, F whoever I'm talking about, they can eat, you know what, it's going to be like, whoa, who died? Who died in his cereal? I think I'm mixing metaphors there. So what I'm doing is, like, I'm saving me using strong profanity for, like, the day when I know it's finally time. Right now, no one has pissed me off enough for me to finally drop the F-bomb on YouTube, but I will, because I don't think for most people it's that serious of a word. It's just a word. But for me, who has never actually been on camera saying it at any point in the last 7 or 8 years, I feel like it's going to be crazy. So I'm waiting. I'm waiting for one of y'all to piss me off enough for me to say how I really, 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 really feel. This is going to be so fun. Someone said maximum opportunist moment. Yes, I'm trying to be an opportunist about cursing online. But yeah, no, I totally, like, if the camera was off, I curse a lot more in real life, mostly because, like, everyone around me does it. And I feel like sometimes it's just a good filler word. Sometimes curse words, I'm not cursing because I'm angry. It's just because I don't know what I'm trying to say. So you could just throw out, like, bad words instead, and it's funny. Oh my god. Someone said that's just like BoJack Horseman, 1 F word per season. Yes, you understand me. You understand me. That's kind of how I'm trying to do it. Someone asked me what is my favorite curse word. Probably I think my favorite curse word is probably, I mean, calling it the S word instead of just saying it sounds stupid, right? But like the euphemism for, you know what, bull, you know what, that's my favorite one. I'm not going to sit here and explain why. I think it's just because, like, I'm going to say ish, because this is going to make this conversation easier to have. The versatility of ish needs to be studied. If you say that something in general is just ish, you're saying it's bad. However, if you're saying that something ain't ish, you're also saying it's bad. Similarly, if you say that something is, it's not ish, you're saying it's not bad. You're saying it's not bad. It has value. Which is the same thing as saying that it ain't ish, in which case you are still saying that it's bad. So I feel like I love how that one word could be used in so many contexts to mean so many different things. And I find it beautiful. It's like truly an argument for just being every version of yourself. You can be the ish. If you are the ish, that means you are the one. But if you're just ish, that means you're nothing at all. So I find it so funny. That is absolutely my favorite curse word. It's so funny. And there's so many ways that you can say it that are so funny. But yeah, if like hearing this is really cringe for you because I sound like a Christian youth pastor, sorry, but just know it's easier this way for me. It's easier for me not having to worry about like, oh, I said this one thing in the stream and that's why YouTube is being mad at my entire it's so much easier for me personally just not to curse online because there's so many other amazing things that you could say. Like I could tell somebody to go F themselves for sure, but I can also say, hey bestie, I dug a hole. I think it would be really fun for all of us if you went and jumped in it forever. I feel like actually sometimes not cursing comes across way harsher than cursing. And I really enjoy the power of just words in general. It's so fun. It's so fun to say the meanest, honestly, just most extreme version of what you're trying to say without even having to curse. Because some of y'all, the people I be talking about online, y'all deserve some harsh words. But there's so many harsh words that you won't even get in trouble for saying on YouTube. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Someone said they curse in German. That's wild. That's scary. One of my editors, back when I had editors, is German. I was going to say he used to be German. He's still German as far as I know. But like, because of this, I've heard just a little bit of German being spoken. And I'm like, I'm not powerful enough for that language. It's scary. When I hear German being spoken, I feel like I'm getting in trouble. Does that make sense? I don't think that when I see it written out, I feel like, is this like a reprimand of some sort? German scares me. Creative insults without swearing, like you look like I drew you with my left hand. No, that's so good. No. You look like I drew you with my left hand is crazy. No, hold on. There's this one I saw on Twitter that is so mean. It's so horrible. But someone said, some of y'all really look like y'all snuck your way onto this earth. Dude, that's awful. That's an awful thing to say. That's a really, really, really bad and mean thing to say. But it's kind of crazy how it doesn't contain a single bad word. And yet it sounds like 50,000 times worse than just saying somebody's ugly as F. I was like, people get so creative when they're not cursing. And I love it. I love it sometimes. Someone said, you look easy to draw. Oh my gosh. You look easy to draw. Someone said, what does it mean? Well, that's the thing. I feel like when things are open to interpretation, the human imagination might just jump to an interpretation that is worse than anything you could have actually said yourself. Hey, someone said, I've got to remember that one. Yeah, no, some of y'all look like y'all snuck your way onto this earth. It's like, that's horrible. That's crazy. There's only a few people I would say that about. I would say that about some people. Actually, sorry, trigger warning. Can I randomly talk about Trump and Elon Musk for a second? I know that that's really cringe to do, but I kind of want to make a point here. I'm not a big fan of talking about people's personal appearances, mostly because I feel like it's not useful information. You know, if I'm making a video about something Elon Musk did that I disagree with, and I'm like, oh, and he's ugly. I'm not really adding anything to my content, and I'm sort of making it easy to pick apart and disagree with, which is why I usually just stick with things that are, dare I say, a little bit more objective. That being said, it's not that I think Elon Musk actually looks ugly. It's that I genuinely think there is a level of hatred that one reaches where you stop looking like a normal person. It starts showing on your face. Okay. It's not just that he's old. There's a hella old people. It's not just that he's this, that, the other. When I say Elon Musk is getting increasingly more difficult to look at, I'm not making fun of any one trait that he has, because many people have traits that Elon Musk has. It's more so just like, I don't know what it is about hate face, but everyone has it. Donald Trump is another example where it's like, bro, you don't look like a normal person anymore. And I don't know if that's just because like you were so bitter, it has started actually like leaking out of your pores or something like that. Typically, yeah, I don't categorize people as like, oh, you're ugly, or oh, you're not ugly, or this, that, the other. It doesn't make any sense to do that, because also for every trait that you say is ugly, you are talking about something that someone actually has, right? If I'm making fun of, oh, here's a great example. I'm making fun of somebody for not having any hair. You're making fun of people. Oh, I can't put my hat back on. I'm cold. You're making fun of people who don't have hair as well, which is why I don't go around saying that people are ugly. But when I tell you that Trump is one uncanny looking guy and he looks very scary, and I would say the same thing about Elon Musk. Yeah, there's this uncanny valley that bigots wind up dipping into that I feel like needs to be discussed more. Also, I don't care if somebody says that those two are ugly either. I'm not really that puritanical about it. It's more so just like for my own content that I'm making, I try to focus on what people are doing. Someone said like real cartoon villains. It's literally like cartoon villain stuff. Someone said jump scare. Oh, did you get jump scared by my bald head? It's always under there. Nah, y'all cannot make me grow my hair out at this point. Y'all really can't do it. Someone said the only thing that can be ugly is the soul. I agree. The only thing that can be ugly is the soul. But I believe your soul can start leaking out and radiating externally and get picked up. And you have this sort of weird emptiness about you. But I would literally only apply this to the most insane, like billionaire coded hateful people ever. I could count on one hand the amount of people I would say are like, you are actually ugly. Someone said, as a bald woman, I will make fun of bigots for not having hair. No, yeah, I still want to be clear. If you wanted to come on the internet and say that you are an orange, wispy haired, holding on to 1980 Ain't no amount of blush or foundation or setting spray finna cover those deep, deep wrinkles. How in the world are you gonna have not smile lines, but frown lines? That's fine too. I think that's a perfectly valid way of talking about Donald Trump, actually. If you wanna be like, wow, how are you finna buy a whole head of hair and it didn't do a single thing for you? I ain't never seen anybody who actually looked better before the hair transplant. If you want to talk about them like that, I'm never going to judge you, because I'm not that kind of person who's like, oh my gosh, we need to be nicer. We need to be nicer to billionaires and evil people and bigots. We have to do better, guys. We have to like, what's the word that people use? Like stay high or whatever, or like taking the high road or whatever. I don't believe in the high road. I believe you can be as ugly and mean as you want. Personally, but what do I know? Okay, hold on a second though. This hat is bothering me now that I have taken it off. I feel like it's not sitting on my head the way I want it to sit on my head anymore. Okay, there we go. That's better. I was gonna cry. I do draw lines when it comes to like quote unquote bullying, you know, people or whatever. Like, let me show you an example of something where I'm like, that is not okay by any means. And I don't care how much y'all are saying that this is okay. Nicki Minaj's petition calls for her deportation after supporting Trump. So listen, people were like talking about, oh yeah, let's call ICE on Nicki Minaj. I'm not going to sit here and root for ICE because I'm that caught up in making sure that I'm dunking on Nicki Minaj for turning into a MAGA-brained everything phobe. I don't think, oh yeah, let's all be mean to celebrities should turn into, let's actually start thinking about the exact same things that are oppressing us and enable them just on the off chance that they might make things a little bit more difficult for celebrities. I see people saying WTF. No, this was real. There was not just one, but there was multiple petitions encouraging immigration and customs enforcement to deport Nicki Minaj, garnering over 53,000 signatures. And I really did see people. I did see people saying like, oh, well, I don't care because she's like a maggot or whatever you want to. Yes, what Nicki Minaj is doing is genuinely disgusting. Does not need to be defended. And I'm not going to sit here and act like it's cool to cozy up to Turning Point USA and the Trump administration while also having all these other crazy things in your background. However, y'all have really lost it if you thought I'm going to sit here and support calling ICE on people we don't like. What do you mean? I feel like that's how far you can say whatever you want about Nicki Minaj, but maybe I would actually have to draw the line at, actually, it's not great that ICE exists in the first place, and they should not be used as an agent of silencing anybody. It's insane. Someone said, I don't think ICE is coming for celebrities. Obviously, just because people are signing a petition saying that Nicki Minaj should be deported doesn't mean that that's the case. All I'm saying is like the attitudes that go behind this sort of thing, where you start disregarding what you're actually saying, or like the implications of what you're implying. The implications of what you're implying. Me trying to hit the target word count in an essay. But anyways, yeah, things like that I really can't get behind. I just find it to be really icky and strange. And again, that's a fringe case. I mean, 53,000 signatures is kind of a lot. But that being said, it's still a fringe opinion. The vast majority of people who are criticizing Nicki Minaj for her MAGA turn are completely within their right to do so. This is completely within their right to do so. Yeah, people are saying abolish ICE. Yeah, exactly. I let's start with abolishing ICE. Now, does that mean that there's not an element of irony in it? No. Obviously, it would be ironic. You know what I mean? To turn into like this conservative racist and then actually get kicked out of the country that you're shilling for. In a vacuum, that is funny. But unfortunately, we don't live in a vacuum. ICE is like a real thing. It's not just something that you can use to make an internet point, I feel. But that's just my opinion. Anyways, someone said, can you mention how some can you mention how some VTubers are no AI, just people that want to do content and still have a private life? Bro. I called you Blow. Sorry. Bro. If I could go back in time and do VTube, if I could go back in time and have a virtual avatar, I wouldn't. Because actually I'm really, really vain. And I think I'm incredibly photogenic. So personally, y'all are finna get this face cam. Y'all were gonna get this face cam. All this money I paid on lights, I'm not about to do no VTubing. However, I think VTubing is so valid actually, and probably for many people, a better option. Because actually it's not really like, sometimes it's just exhausting. Always having your face on the internet and doing all of these things, you know what I mean? But like, I fantasize about being a VTuber sometimes. I was like, what if no one ever saw me? What if I had never done a face reveal? And I never had to like do my skincare. Y'all say like, oh, your skin is popping. I'm 27. It doesn't pop by itself anymore. I need to make this clear. If y'all are younger than me and you have good skin, listen to me very closely. I'm 27 years old. My skin is not popping naturally anymore. It's popping because of retinol resurfacing serum. My skin is popping because of vitamin C serum, and also moisturizing cream, nightly moisturizing cream, and AM SPF. I have to work so hard actually to have any level of glow. When I was 22, I was just hot. It was so I didn't do anything. People would ask me like, oh, what are you doing? Having the skin of a 22-year-old. It's real easy, actually. Now, granted, I don't want to sound like I'm dunking on people who are 22 and actually have skin problems. That's not what I'm doing at all. All I'm saying is like, the older I get, it's like, oh, I have to put effort into my appearance. Oh no, I can't just be young and have youth working for me, even though I am still young, obviously. But yeah, it would be awesome to not have to put on a cool outfit and make sure that I'm glowy and looking good for y'all. I could just like VTube. I could virtually be here, virtual D'Angelo. Because I also feel like y'all would still like the content even if it wasn't me as like physically on camera. I know I get a lot of comments about like, oh, we love your looks and this, that, the other, which I definitely appreciate, but I don't feel like people are just watching me because of the way I look, which is why I felt comfortable shaving all of my hair off, because I don't really care. I feel like if I had debuted as a VTuber and I was still making good points, I probably would be doing fine right now, but it is what it is, y'all. We here and we are real. But VTubers are also real. VTubers are, some of them are not AI. Just because you see like an anime person talking at you on the live stream, I respect that as a form of content. And a million times more than I respect any sort of AI nonsense. Someone said, imagine if this D'Angelo was actually the virtual D'Angelo and he's been lying the whole time. I feel like technically there is nothing I can do to prove that I am real right now. I'm trying to think like, what can I do that AI can't do? I don't know. I'm sure there's something I could do that would like indicate that this is a real video feed that you're watching right now, but I can't think of anything. I could totally be virtual. I don't know. There's this bottle of glasses cleaner that I think me and this bottle of glasses cleaner are already on thin ice. Because haven't I already mentioned at one point that I thought I was going to accidentally drink this instead of my water? I feel like if I just, you know, like the candy spray, I just knock it back a little bit. AI would never do that. But like, it would though. I feel like no level of me trying to be totally random XD would actually prove anything, because AI does stupid stuff like, oh yeah, I'm gonna knock back glasses cleaner and then you'll all know that I'm real. Anyways, let's do some rapid fire yapping before we move into the next section. I'm excited. Someone said I have an appropriate amount of teeth. I do. Actually, I really like my teeth. Hold on. If this joke is offensive, you can let me know after the fact. The reason I like my teeth is because up here, I've got American teeth, and down here, I got my British teeth. So I've got Oscar teeth. Oscar's on the front row. and BAFTA on the bottom row. And I feel like that's the best of both worlds. I have honestly not a perfect smile, but it's like the right amount. Now, if there's anyone British in the chat and they're like, bro, that was so xenophobic, why did you just do this? Sorry. I think it's funny. I commonly think of my bottom row of teeth as being British because they're not perfect, but that's less of a reflection on British people and more a reflection on how silly it is to chase having a really straight front row of teeth. Sorry. I know that joke is a little dicey, but I'm sticking with it. Oh my gosh. So it said, I love that. A British person. Hey, I've got one British person's approval. I'm sticking with it. No, I've been through a lot with my teeth, honestly, because I was injured as a child. Sorry, I feel like I don't know why that took a turn, but yeah, I went through a fairly capital T traumatic injury as a child that my front teeth were loose. It's real scary to have your teeth grow in and then get messed up so bad that the teeth that were no longer supposed to be wiggly start wiggling again. And we literally had to wait. They told us, like, we can't really do anything. You're just going to have to wait for them to re-solidify. And so my top teeth re-solidified into something that it was fairly crooked, honestly. And I didn't like it. Not because I think there's anything wrong with having crooked teeth. I was just really upset that I didn't have my smile anymore. I don't want to have crooked teeth because something happened to me, even though if you do, that's totally understandable. But yeah, I had a lot of insecurity about my top teeth. And so this is really funny. I got all my teeth straightened because of this. I had braces for years. And for a second, I had 2 rows of really straight teeth. And even my teeth down here were really straight. But then I stopped wearing braces for a really long time. And my top teeth stayed where they were, which I'm pretty sure this is how they were when I was a kid. And my bottom teeth just went back. My bottom teeth just reverted to the way that they were before. And I was like, I won. I got the perfect smile. They were never, the orthodontist was never actually going to listen to me saying like, I just kind of only want to fix the part that wasn't me anymore. They fixed all my teeth, but then my teeth reverted on the bottom to what I think is a much more normal smile because I'm not a big fan of Hollywood. So yeah, that's my tooth story. Did y'all like it? It's real, I swear. Someone said you got to wear retainers. Okay. I'm an advocate for following dental advice. Y'all got to wear retainers. And I agree with that. However, I didn't wear a retainer because I was just really dumb and a little bit depressed. And I was like, you know what? I give up. And I got really scared because I thought that my teeth were just going to revert into nothingness. But they settled. They settled. They settled right where I want them personally. But yeah, if I had worn a retainer, I would have had 2 rows of hella straight teeth. But there's no point in hiding it. I mean, like, why are we like this about teeth anyway? We have yellow teeth. We have crooked teeth. The odds of your teeth growing in perfectly straight, you got set up. You got very, 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 very lucky. Someone said, I really need to wear my retainer. It's been months. Bro, check it. Go check it. If you have not worn a retainer in months, go check it. Because my issue was that I hadn't worn it for so long that when I went to go put it back in, it didn't fit. Oops. Oops. So yeah, that's kind of the issue. And then I was thinking like, oh my gosh, do I want to straighten my bottom teeth again? And I don't really want to do that. Someone said, what about permanent retainers? If that's a thing, that's what they should have given me because I'm way too unstable to be trusted. Anyways, someone said, I don't know anyone who continued using retainers. Low key, me neither. I don't know what it is about. I feel like by the time I got like finished with my course and I moved on to the retainer section, I was so done. I was so done with stuff in my mouth. Phrasing. I was so done with just having metal and plastic in my mouth all the time that I was like, I don't want to do it anymore. But that's not good. That's not good. Because if people are giving you advice and they're professionals, you should follow that. So I'm not advocating for ditching your retainers. I'm not advocating for it at all. You know what I think would be cool? I'm not going to do it, but like a grill, like just for a picture. Because I feel like grills are so fun. Like I wouldn't wear one permanently because I'm paranoid of like, I'm going to have lettuce stuck in my grill all the time. But I feel like for one good picture, just pop in like some fake diamonds and give you like the blingiest smile y'all ever saw. I might do that just for one picture because I think it would look cool. Someone said all that for aesthetics is kind of ridiculous if we really think about it. It is though. Because like, it's just teeth. But at the same time, it's really tricky because when society is making you feel crazy about your teeth and people feel confident saying things like, oh yeah, your top teeth are messed up, then you start thinking like, oh, it's hard not to feel any kind of way about it. Someone said tooth gems. I feel like tooth gems would go hard because I got some big teeth. I got space for a gem. I will put one on my canine or something like that. Anyways, that was the braces subject. What do we got? Because the last hour, I'm finna do some stuff, but we ain't there yet. We got 7 more minutes. What y'all want to talk about? Let's go. Let's go. With how popular veneers are getting in the entertainment industry, the general public hating them so much, slightly crooked teeth are going to be the beauty standard in a decade. Yeah. Okay. I know I said I was going to move on from teeth, but I will say this last thing about veneers. About the way that celebrities get veneers. I don't fault the average person for getting veneers at all. Because like it is ultimately designed to help people. However, why do celebrities get veneers that are too big for their face? Y'all have more money than God. Y'all could literally pay for the nicest teeth imaginable, but for some reason, the Hollywood standard for veneer is so big. I don't know why people go so big with their veneers. It's very, 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 very odd. It's very odd for me personally. I don't get it. I'm not judging people who choose to change their appearance. I'm raising my hand and saying I don't understand the big veneer trend. It's very interesting. And someone said, why do they have to be blindingly white? It's interesting. All right. Take me out of the uncanny valley. I'm so tired of thinking about teeth. I'm starting to get creepy because actually I find teeth to be really creepy a little bit. I know everyone has them, but teeth scare me. What else do we got? Someone said, are you a candle person? No, I'm a diffuser person. Hold on. Y'all want to see my diffuser scent collection? I might not be able to find it. Stay right where you are. Hold on. Listen to the dulcet tones of my starting soon screen. I'm going to be back long before that counter finishes. I was gifted this and it changed my life. Somebody gave me this set of like diffuser scents or whatever. I'm not here to sell y'all essential oils. I'm literally just saying they smell really good. And I don't have to light a candle, which I feel kind of scared to do in my apartment. So y'all want cedar wood? We got cedar wood for you. It's like straight up in a box. The peppermint one, I'm not gonna lie, is not it. No, I'm smelling it right now and I'm like, the peppermint oil is not it for me. The eucalyptus one goes hard though. The eucalyptus one goes crazy. Somebody asked what's happening. I'm showing you my diffuser oil collection because I was asked about, do I use candles? Okay, what else we got? The frankincense one is kind of like whatever. Here's the thing. I thought that frankincense was gonna smell like crazy good. I should stop sniffing things on camera because YouTube's like, he's totally doing drugs right now. Excuse me. Frankincense smells good, but it's not as crazy as I thought it was gonna smell by any means. Tea tree oil, a basic, it's a staple for a reason. I'm dropping the canisters. Okay. What else we got? Sweet orange? No. I hate the listen, if you like this, you can have this one because I really don't like the way the citrus one smells at all for some reason. And that goes for lemon too. I don't want citrusy smells. Don't ask me why. Okay, there's only 3 left. Rosemary? That one's pretty good. I like the rosemary one a lot. Also, I feel like we have rosemary around us. So that's really fun. Also, I don't think this is TMI, but like, I'm pretty sure the shaving oil stuff I use to try to yeet all of the hair off of my face and sometimes hair has rosemary stuff in it. And it smells really, really nice. It's a great scent. Rosemary is underrated. Lavender. I'm gonna be honest, lavender is the one. It smells so invisible. Does that make sense? Because here's the thing. I get overstimulated really easily. And that's actually probably the reason that I don't like peppermint and I don't like the lemon and I don't like the orange ones because I feel like those are very visible smells. But lavender smells like the color clear. And that is why this, I think, is the most underrated one in the box. And then lastly, you have lemongrass, which is fine. Again, you're kind of veering into strong smells. But yeah, that's my diffuser collection that I was gifted. I'm a big fan of diffusers for sure. Someone said mix them all like watercolors. I mean, what if I do that and I get isekai'd? You want to see me vanish in a portal into another world because I mixed every single diffuser oil before putting it in the diffuser? No, thank you. Do y'all know what isekai means, by the way? Isekai is so funny. Should we just talk about anime? Wait, that would be such a good discussion. I don't think I've ever told you how I feel about anime. Okay. Let's talk a little bit about what isekai means for those of you who don't know. It's like Portal Fantasy, and it refers to a type of story where a character will get transported to another world. Usually some form of fantasy world where, they will then have something to go do in that realm or whatever. There's a lot of isekai anime nowadays. They're not all good, but I would like to broadly talk about anime. When I was in college, I got interviewed by one of the students there about my tendency to read manga in public. That is how much of an actual, dare I say, weeaboo I was. I was such an anime fan. Now, granted, I was a minor. I went to college, as I've mentioned many times, from age 15 to 19, right? Me being a kid and liking manga and anime and all this stuff a lot was pretty easy to do when I didn't have to be critical about what I was consuming because that wasn't my responsibility because I was a child. When you get old enough to feel like some of the stuff that they're putting out is going to put you on a watch list, I started getting a really, really disillusioned with anime. And I had I'm reaching for my water, but I can't find it. I had this long period where I just didn't watch it at all. I didn't watch anime. Someone said reading anime in public is a taboo. No, but reading anime in public in 2014 is not as cool as it is now. Reading manga in public in 2014 is nowhere near as cool as it is now. That was definitely still enough to have people say that you were weird. That being said, I just rejected anime because I was like, listen, I don't want to play this game where I'm like, is this going to be about high school girls being sexualized? Honestly, that's not all that anime is by any means at all. It's really not that. And I think it's actually pretty messed up to reduce an art form to being that. However, because it's prevalent, which I don't even think any anime fan could disagree with, it's a prevalent thing that happens in this media, I didn't want to play the roulette anymore of figuring out whether things had fan service in them or really strange content that was going to make me really uncomfortable. So temporarily, I stopped watching anime in general because it was just easier for me not to figure it out. I did still totally know that there are many, many amazing stories that like do not have these things in them. That's why I didn't actually publicly say like, oh yeah, anime's awful and everyone who watches it is bad. That's not true. I was just getting real burnt out from these weird things that were happening in anime. Recently, I've gone back and tried to get back into anime, and I found some pretty good things. That I really enjoy watching. For example, I did recently tell y'all about the movie 100 Meters on Netflix, which I saw someone said that they watched it and it was so good. Good. I'm glad you watched it. More people need to watch that. Recently, it's another running anime. Sorry, I'm really, really old. I watched Run with the Wind, which is like an older anime based off of a book. Great, amazing. It's about these college students starting a run team and going for gold and all this stuff. It's really awesome. I find it a little bit easier to watch niche or older anime. I find like trying to follow every single new anime release as it comes out is not it for me. And I often wind up getting like just kind of burned out from trying to follow everything, or I just don't really like the things that are in there, or I feel like I can't really vouch for them, or I just feel uncomfortable watching them. But there are definitely some recent anime that I think are great, and I would recommend to anyone in a heartbeat. Let me pull this one up. Campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill. This is an isekai anime, and it's not even really that original. But if you've ever wondered what level of hyperfixation I have on random things, it's how it feels to watch this show is how it feels for me to think about things. Where you are just so specific and you make so little sense to anybody outside of that one thing that you're thinking about. I feel like an entire show about this one guy who has the ability to like essentially order things from Amazon from Earth into this fantasy world and make any dish he wants. I really liked that one. It was one of my favorite anime of the season, and I'm so happy that it has like multiple seasons or whatever. It was great. Someone said I love the campfire cooking anime. It's so good. I saw someone mention Dungeon Meshi. Yeah, hold on, because we're actually cooking with fire. Pun completely intended. There's this one called Delicious in Dungeon. Now this one's a little more serious than Campfire Cooking in Another World. It's so good though. It's actually such a good anime, and the vibes of it are just, they're elite, they're pristine, okay? The art style is beautiful. It's amazing. Someone said, have you watched Frieren? Did you like it? I haven't watched Frieren yet, but I probably will for sure. Frieren is another, I watched the first episode. It's another example where I'm like, I'm fine watching things like Frieren. I'm fine watching things like, Delicious in Dungeon, or, Campfire Cooking in Another World at my big age and stuff like that. This is going to piss some of y'all off, but you're going to have to work with me. There's some things that I'm not fine with watching, no matter how popular they are. I don't care how popular they are. I still find it really weird. I feel like me saying this is just stupid because someone is definitely going to clip this and I'm going to get in trouble, but I don't care. I can't really watch things like Dandadan, even though it's really, 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 really popular and also very interesting. Has a cool premise and stuff like that. When you're clicking into the first episode and you've got the main character who is like, how old is she? I don't even really know. 15, 16, whatever, like high school girl. And she's getting like probed by aliens who have like taken all her clothes off and stuff. It's like, I don't want to watch this. I don't want to watch it. This is not an indictment on people who are watching Dandadan. This is not me suggesting that this content is like, I know enough about it to say this or the other. I'm just saying, I totally exercise my right to just be like, hey, I just straight up don't want to see this, so I'm not going to continue watching this. And I find that that happens to me with a lot of recent anime where I'm just like, the themes in this are just not something I feel like following that hard personally. And I find it to be really gross. Also, I believe we used to live in an era where the average Dandadan fan would be like, I agree. I hear what you're saying. And we don't like those elements of the show either. And it's a shame that they're too much for you, but there's plenty of other good anime. But the reason I don't participate in the anime fandom is because a lot of fans of almost any show are actually like, well, you're stupid and you don't understand why. Actually, she was being probed for a reason, and it's a reference to something. And why are you being puritanical? And it's just like, my brother in Christ, I just don't want to see it. So yeah, not the biggest fan of Dandadan. Similarly, I don't really love Chainsaw Man for like the same reason. Even though it has really cool stuff in there, it just I don't know. That's my deeply unpopular opinion about anime. Is that I would rather watch things like Dungeon Meshi or Campfire Cooking than Dandadan or Chainsaw Man, because I don't have to try to sort through weird feelings about things. I can just be like, hey, nothing weird is ever going to happen in this show. And it's easier to watch. It's easier to watch. Someone said it serves the themes of the show, but it's totally fair not wanting to watch it. Thank you for understanding. Seriously, I'm not sitting here and saying like, oh, nobody should be watching this or like this, that, the other. I'm also just like, hey, there's plenty of shows. I'm finna find one that I don't have to think that hard about. Someone said, would you recommend Mob Psycho 100? Yeah, I would recommend the heck out of Mob Psycho 100. It's so cool, actually. Hold on, I'll show y'all that one. It's great. Now, if I'm saying things like this and there's also things in these shows that I wouldn't stand for and I don't remember, that's not on me, because I watched some of these shows a really long time ago. But Mob Psycho is so great. Mob is such a funny character. I feel like we can all relate to him a little bit, maybe minus the part where we have psychic powers and stuff like that. I mean, I can relate to that because I have psychic powers, but it has really great animation and it's really funny and it's awesome. Someone said Mob Psycho is so good. It's so good. And hopefully like it's not coming across to you if you are an anime fan. I'm not an anime hater. I'm really not. I'm just really particular about the things that I watch, like everybody is. You probably are too. And so I get really particular about a lot of anime, and I'm really quick to drop an anime if I get a vibe that I'm not a fan of. But a lot of it is really, really awesome. A lot of it is really awesome. I see y'all talking about anime while I'm on the clock on a call. No, this is a good discussion. I'm sad. Someone said, where do you watch anime after Crunchyroll's partnership? Crunchyroll's partnership? I don't know what Crunchyroll did. I should look into that. But that being said, anytime I need to find an anime that I can't find quickly, I just Google like Reddit anime free 2026, and then somebody will have a list of websites you can go to, and you can literally find any show for free. You can find any show in English for free with the English dub or the subtitles. So I can't even say which platform I used recently because I feel like they're always getting taken down, but someone online will have somewhere for you to watch everything anime for free. It's kind of not great. But some people are saying Crunchyroll is evil. People are saying pirating is the GOAT. I'm a fan of pirating. Yeah, you can pirate my videos if you want. I think there's like platforms that people use to like watch YouTube without ads. Hey, don't tell YouTube this. I'm a big ad blocker fan for sure. Because like hold on. I realize I shouldn't just say things like I'm a pirating fan with no context, because I'm also an artist, right? I think you have to pay attention to what it is that you're pirating, right? If like an indie developer makes a game, I'm not going to be like, okay, I need to figure out how to play this game for free because I don't want to pay indie developers. I don't want to pay individuals who are creating artwork, right? When I know that that's what that money is going to. if EA makes a game, if Nintendo is making a game, if, you know, Ubisoft, any of these companies are making games, I'm sorry, broski, it's a no for me. I don't really care. I will figure out a way to play, especially when so many of these companies are like insanely precious about their IP and they make it impossible to play their games. I have to pirate some of the Nintendo games that I play because they're just not available anywhere. There was this game, Xenoblade Chronicles X, which is my favorite entry in the Xenoblade series, right? Okay, hold on. So nowadays, if you want to play Xenoblade Chronicles X, you can. you can purchase it for Switch 2 or Switch or whatever. I have a Nintendo Switch. But for the longest time, if you wanted to play this game, you either had to have a Wii U or you just had to die. And it's like, who is actually going to have a functioning Wii U in the year of our Lord, like 2021 or whenever it was? Like, bro, I'm not finna pay all money for what was honestly one of the worst consoles Nintendo has ever released just so I can play my Xenoblade. I'm gonna find other ways of playing it. Someone said I buy what I actually use or enjoy after pirating. That's a very fair way of consuming things, for sure. Someone said my friend pirated Harry Potter. Yeah, I feel like money not going to J.K. Rowling, who is going to turn around and donate your money to anti-trans legislation or lobbying and stuff like that, is good. Pirating Harry Potter is awesome. For real. I think that's a great thing to do. But yeah, that's just my opinion personally. I'm not one of those, like, people can be so weird of like, oh, pirating is bad. I was a teenager without money. If I did not have the ability to pirate anything, I never would have uploaded a video. If I actually had to pay, if I had to pay for every single bit of software or anything that I've ever used in my life, I just would not have the tools to create the things I've created. I wouldn't have the inspiration from the things that have inspired me. Like, no, pirating is the wave, for real. Someone said Delta Emu. I love emulation. Oh my god, I'm such a big fan of it. I used Dolphin. I feel like I used Cemu at one point as well. Yeah, no, I'm big into emulation, or like buying devices that are not meant to play certain games and then just turning them into emulation machines. Like I had a Steam Deck, which I essentially turned into a Nintendo emulation machine, which is funny because it ran all of the games better than the original software. But anyways, now we're getting really into the nitty gritty. Y'all don't want to hear me sit here and talk about emulators and stuff. Someone said I pirated Binding of Isaac for years, and the minute I got a credit card, I bought it so quick. But that's the thing, though. That's literally the thing, though, is like people want to support things that are good products to them. They just don't want to get charged for literally everything or made to feel like they're excluded from things just because they can't afford them. And so I feel like that's literally the thing, is like people are going to pay for it. You know what I mean? You have to kind of trust people and not try to block them out. And it's like, oh, well, you can't be a part of my viewership because you're using ad blocker. You can't be a part of my fan base because you've pirated or whatever. I love like pay what you can models because of that and this, that, the other. Now, that being said, I would still bookmark this by saying like independent artists, I really do try to support them to the best of my ability. I like buying things off of like Etsy for sure. I like, for example, just like commissioning artwork from random people. It's something I've been trying to spend more money on for sure. Like, I don't even need the artwork. I just want to pay an artist because I have the ability to do so. So yeah, there's things I really try to do. But yeah, I have no loyalty in my heart for Nintendo or any sort of big company. Someone said, why go into a debt for a console if you can't even play the expensive games? Yeah, no. Well, I mean, here's the thing. I don't think people would be pirating things if they weren't so expensive. Like, recent gaming prices just for short little games have gotten kind of like wild. Wild to say the least. Someone said Etsy stealing money from creators. That sucks. See, it's like, again, like I purchase something. I guess when I purchase things from Etsy, it's not me supporting Etsy exactly, but of course it is. But I'm more so like talking about Redbubble Etsy, the sort of general idea of being able to support people and acquire things that they are creating directly. I'm not an Etsy fan. Etsy has become dropshipping haven. I have noticed that like 85% of the things on Etsy are literally not 85%. I should not throw out a number. I'm not throwing out a number. But recently when I've been searching for things, I've noticed like, why is this also on Shein? You know what I mean? But y'all know what I mean. Y'all know what I mean. You can totally find like individual creators who are selling things. Sadly, creators got to use the platforms available to them. You know what I mean? But no, not an Etsy fan. Anyways, someone said, is EA bad? I want to get a PC to play Sims and other games, obviously. All gaming companies are bad. They're literally on some level, triple A, large, really gaming companies. Those are the ones I'm talking about. On some level, they're going to have some sort of anti-consumer practice that is just really uncool. So it's not it. It's not it. Someone says Etsy a USA thing. I don't know if it's big in other places, but at one point it was huge over here. This is sad though. I got to do some research into Etsy. Some say you're using your discretion. I'm trying. I'm not just trying to buy anything that looks cool to me. Actually, look, when I bought this recent round of clothing, I had to really make sure I wasn't just finding randomly like AI generated clothes. Did y'all know that AI generated clothes patterns designs is like a huge thing now? Oh, I keep moving my water from side to side. I did not realize how bad it was until the last time I went looking for stuff. Someone said anything that's a corporation is going to be evil. Yeah, no, for real, for real. And that's just why I'm not going to sit here on the platform and be like, don't ever pirate anything. You have to respect the guidelines that companies are setting out. No, that's boring. Isn't it more fun if you're just like, screw the company, I'll do what I want? Oh, people are talking about AI generated crochet patterns. Dude, that's rough. I've seen that. Do y'all remember earlier in stream where I said ChatGPT was making ads telling people to generate like plushies of themselves? They're doing the same thing I've seen with like crochet patterns where it's like, oh yeah, come crochet this. And it's an image of something that cannot exist in real life. And then they're actually charging people for the patterns for those. It's so bad. It's really, really bad. Someone said there are content creators buying AI hauls for this is what I ordered and this is what I got videos. I don't really love haul content in general. Mostly for that reason, I guess, because like so much of the things that it depends on the kind of haul, right? But so much of the things that people get, like, what are y'all even doing with that stuff? The AI on Pinterest is out of control. I can't use it anymore. And it's the saddest thing ever. I can't use Pinterest. I use Pinterest so much to help plan my outfits. Who here remembers on my video essay channel where I had a new outfit every single day? Not every day. Every single like couple weeks, I would come back with like a crazy look for y'all because I felt like that was kind of becoming part of my lore and stuff. So much of that was dependent on me trying to use Pinterest to find like these aesthetics and stuff like that. But the more I would try to use Pinterest, it would just get worse and worse and worse, just flooded with like AI nonsense and just like ads for things that you can't even tell are ads because they're not disclosed. It was so bad. Someone said they turned off AI. You can turn off AI on Pinterest? Bro. If you can do that, I need to look up how to do that. When I was using it, I did not see how to do that. So I did not turn off AI on Pinterest. And it was sad because I also use it for artwork. I'm a really big fan of illustration and stuff like that. But yeah, no, like, oh my gosh, it was so annoying. But yeah, if there's a way to see the good things that people are pinning without getting slammed by AI nonsense, I would like to at least go back and save some of the stuff I had on there. Someone said AI images, not AI art. Yeah, that's true too. I mean, it's not artwork, right? I might still say AI art just because it's faster and I'm not thinking about it. But I agree in general, like it shouldn't be considered the same thing. So, okay, I see people saying it has varying levels of efficacy. Hey, if it works for you, Go for it. Do y'all like the word efficacy? I like the word efficacy. What are some other words that I like? I don't know. That's the only $2 word I have for today. Efficacy. I'm trying to think of like fun words that I think people should use more often, but I can't because I actually don't really have a big vocabulary when I'm trying to think of it. Words just naturally come out. If I'm not thinking, I will say a word like efficacy, but then if I try to think of a word, I can't remember anything longer than 4 letters. It's really painful. Someone said, how do you spell efficacy? EFFICACY. Tomfoolery. That's a good word. I love that. Someone says it's the first time I've ever heard this word. Okay, here, I'll tell you what efficacy means. I'll tell you right now. Let's educate ourselves. Efficacy. It's a really great word. It literally just means the ability to produce a desired or intended result. In other words, does it work? If something, efficacy is its ability to work, its effectiveness. It says right here, effectiveness is a synonym. So yeah, if I say like, oh, people are saying they've had various levels of efficacy with turning AI off. In other words, I'm saying like it's worked a little bit for some people or more for other people. It's a great word. We should say efficacy more. Infinitesimal. I love the word infinitesimal. Infinitesimal is great. Okay, wait, hold on. You know what's really funny though? You know what's really, 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 really funny? Oh, I feel like I should do a typing test. Infinitesimal meaning. So infinitesimal means extremely small, right? I find that a lot of people who use the word infinitesimal say infinitesimally small, which I feel like is really funny. And I actually find that happens with a lot of words. I can't think of any other off the top of my head tautologies like that. Oh, tautology is another good word. It essentially means something that's been repeated twice, right? But yeah, no, the phrase infinitesimally small, I feel like, I spelled it wrong. I feel like it makes its way into so much print media, and I'm like, y'all are genuinely just saying you're saying the same thing twice. It's really funny. ATM machine. It's literally the ATM machine paradox, but like I don't make fun of people for saying that. I think it's funny. It's hilarious. Chai tea. Yeah. Irregardless. Okay, wait, hold on a second. Don't get me started on irregardless, because I had to change my mind on that. Hold on. First of all, I'm a big fan of English changing. Here's a good example of a word that has become commonly accepted, and I think that should have happened. Themself. THEMSELF. That used to be considered bad grammar. However, if I'm referring to a non-binary person, just trying to me, I'm a non-binary man, right? Let's say I did use they them pronouns instead of he him. If you're like, oh, D'Angelo kept all the cookies to themselves, that's good grammar now, because we have sort of evaluated what does that mean, right? Before it would have been themselves. That doesn't make sense because I do contain multitudes, but I am just one dude. But yeah, so like themself is an example of like, I like the way that grammar changes sometimes. However, irregardless, I feel like kind of lost me, because I feel like people just like forced that one into existence. It says right here that it's non-standard. Right? Someone said their self is better. Is their self better? D'Angelo kept all the cookies to their self. Themself? Their self? Because like, I would say like himself, for example, but then their self makes more sense because it belongs to they. No, that's a good point, actually. Hold on. That's a really good point. It's their self. Okay, yeah, so this is the AI. I don't like the AI at all. But it does seem like people do kind of go back and forth between their self and themselves. I don't know which one I like better, actually. I don't know which one I like better. I like them both because I feel like themself to me makes sense because it goes in with himself and herself. Him, her, them. So that's why that makes more sense to me. But like their self also makes more sense because it's their self. You know what I mean? So either one is totally fine. And I like the fact that we can have these conversations and stuff like that without being snobs, essentially. However, where y'all start to lose me is I feel like I don't necessarily understand irregardless as a construct, because it just means regardless. So like versus themself slash their self, which I think arose to meet a need in English. Why did we turn regardless into irregardless so hard that it kind of became a word now? Now, listen, because it's in the dictionary, I'm not a snob about irregardless. You can say irregardless and I'm not going to be like, well, actually it just means regardless. I'm not that guy. I don't think actually making fun of people for how they use grammar is cool at all. I'm more so just like, why irregardless when regardless right there? Someone said it's adding a syllable to sound more profound. No, dude, irregardless sends me. And I feel like during my lifetime, I watched people go back and forth on like, this is a word, this is not a word, this is a word, this is not a word. Until finally, y'all worded it so hard. Someone said we like to sound fancy. It's valid. It's valid to sound fancy. But y'all made it a word so hard that now it is a word. And I'm never going to be that guy who's like, oh, it's in the dictionary, but I don't think it's valid. Actually, speaking of that, that's the same elitist mentality that got Pluto kicked out of the planets, the solar system. I mean, Pluto is still in our solar system, I'm pretty sure. But when I was a kid, y'all are going to find out how old I am. Pluto was a planet. Does anybody remember that? And then I feel like science, which I'm a pretty big fan of actually, and a big supporter and believer in, science is like, well, actually, Pluto's not a planet. Because technically, and then they gave all these sciencey science reasons for why Pluto's not a planet. And so now Pluto's just spinning around in space by itself, by themself or their self, right? Pluto's spinning around in space by theirself. And I just feel like, who is advocating for Pluto? It makes me really sad. It makes me really sad. Someone said elitism got Pluto kicked out. Well, it was more so science and like actual professional opinions that from people who know a lot more than me. But I was sad when I was a child and they told me that Pluto wasn't a planet anymore. It felt elitist. It felt like gatekeeping. Someone said my grad quote was restore Pluto to planetary status. Yes. Someone said it's not a planet, or someone said it is a planet. It's a dwarf planet. I mean, I guess a dwarf planet is still a planet for sure. For sure. Like if I just Google Pluto, right? Wikipedia. It is going to say it's a dwarf planet, right? But here's the thing. Why's it got to be a dwarf planet? Oh, so because Pluto is small, it's a little small. Y'all got to stick dwarf in front of planet to make some sort of distinction based off of something about Pluto that Pluto cannot change about themselves? I don't know. All I'm saying is there ain't nothing wrong with being a dwarf planet. I just find that to be a little interesting. Why it gotta be a dwarf planet though? Someone said Xenoblade 3 is goated. Oh my gosh, Xenoblade Discourse. I want to talk about Xenoblade so badly. But here's the thing, chat. I do a pretty good job of wavering between I do a pretty good job of wavering between topics that I feel like most people are going to understand and topics that no one is going to understand. So me talking about Pluto being a planet, someone said what happened to discussing AI music videos. Oh, I cut that point out of my outline because I felt like it was running over long and I didn't think that anybody would realize. But just for you, I'm going to pull it back up. So just wait. Anyways, I do a pretty good job in my streams of oscillating between content that everybody knows and content that nobody knows. Nobody here knows what Xenoblade 3 is. And if y'all do, you are an ultra nerd. I don't want to always turn it into ultra nerd space. You are literally so lost in the sauce if you actually know what Xenoblade 3 is. Like, that's embarrassing. I say that as somebody who has, I think, like 2 or 3 or 4 or 500 hours in the Xenoblade series. I can't believe y'all know what Xenoblade 3 is. That could never be me. So don't worry. I'll go back to talking about it, but probably after I talk about some stuff that's a little bit more mainstream. Somebody said, wow, called an ultra. Y'all are some nerds. Listen, if you tell me that you're a gamer and you're like, oh yeah, I play video games, this, that, the other, and you're like, oh, I play Call of Duty, I'm like, that's about what I would expect. Or you're like, oh, I play FIFA. You're just a bit of a nerd, right? But if you're like, oh yeah, I'm a big video game fan, I play Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I play this JRPG with my team of 6 people and my additional 7th hero slot, and I played through this riveting sequel to the popular Xeno series, in which, you know, me and my ragtag tag team of people were trying to unite 2 sides of this opposing war and do all of these things and change all these people's lives and have all this sad stuff, and all these other characters from the other games are like popping back up in random places and stuff. Like, you're such a nerd. Because, like, same, but, like, that is a nerdy way of playing video games. SMH. All right, somebody asked me, somebody said I played Disgaea. Okay, now y'all are playing in my face. I feel like, so already playing JRPGs makes you such a nerd, for sure. But I do feel like there are levels, because, again, if you're like, oh, I play JRPGs, but you're like, I play Final Fantasy, then I'm just kind of like, okay, that's a little nerdy or whatever. But you're like, no, I play Disgaea. I like what would you call it? Like tactics games? Essentially, I like Disgaea 6. What's your favorite? I bet you have a favorite one. Is it 6? Is it 5? Disgaea 5 is my favorite one. My profile picture on Xbox Network used to be Red Magnus from Disgaea 5. I think he's from 5. I get them confused. Someone said Kingdom Hearts. Oh my gosh, that's such a good game. Series, franchise, everything. Parasite Eve. Nah. Fire Emblem. Oh, nah. We got Fire Emblem players over here. If somebody had told me I was streaming to a bunch of absolute nerds. Fire Emblem. But, like, there's levels to it, though. Because if you tell me, like, oh, I'm a fan of Fire Emblem, and then you tell me, like, oh, I'm a fan of, like, Persona, I'm not going to call you an ultra nerd. But if you're like, oh, D'Angelo, I'm actually a really big fan of that one Fire Emblem X Persona game called Tokyo Mirage Sessions FE that no one ever talks about, but was low-key one of the greatest turn-based JRPGs of its generation. Tokyo Mirage Sessions is low-key so good. It's such a good game. It's literally Fire Emblem X, like Shin Megami Tensei's battle system with like a bunch of singing. It's really stupid, but it's such a good game. Like, if you say you know that level of stuff, I'm going to be like, you have to go because you're too much of a nerd. But if you're just broadly sort of kind of a fan of Fire Emblem, I'll allow it. Someone said, I mean, you're right. I mean, I am right. Tokyo Mirage Sessions is like, it's pretty great. It's a pretty great game. Okay, so anyways, let's talk about AI music videos really fast. In that final source that I had about the AI grandma, who I still totally have beef with, Time Magazine included this. Hold on, wait. Okay, so this is like an AI R&B singer, Zania Monet, I guess is that, if that's how you say that. Look, I'm not a big fan of mispronouncing real people's names. I think that's pretty lame. But I really could not care less about I could not care less about this machine. Okay. I should definitely not. Someone said I didn't realize D'Angelo was this much of a nerd. Oh, baby, you have no idea. It's not even good. It's not good. I mean, the rabbit hole is endless when it comes to the JRPG lore. It's really bad. It's really, 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 really bad. Someone asked me the other day, do I have vices? And I had floated social media addiction that I had at one point. But I think what goes much deeper than that, it's not a vice. It's not a hyperfixation. It's a way of being. Bro, I was molded by these games. We could talk about them for 6 hours at a time. But that's why I always shift into other things. So let me make sure I'm not misquoting this. Because I don't. Yeah. AI singer Zania Monet is apparently trying to do R&B to us using robot voices. I'm not going to play a lot of this.
Breakups hurt like hell, worse than any boy ever did. Can't you tell? You knew my soul, my past, my truth.
First of all, this is racist in a way that I can't prove yet, so I'm not going to push the issue. I don't care who made this. You could have told me, no, D'Angelo Black people made this. I haven't figured out yet why. But something about this is registering on a part of my radar that I'm not Secondly, this is so mid. This is wait, hold on. Y'all are literally making the most mid music of all time and winding up in Time magazine.
You felt like I lost my youth. We had no closure, no last fight.
Brother, what is this like contemporary Christian music sounding R&B? Come on. And that's not even a major knock against CCM, because I was indoctrinated by that stuff as a child. So I've actually heard some pretty decent contemporary Christian music, but like, bro, this is not it. It's so lame. Someone said all the tabs open got me stressed. Oh, I can stress you out a bit more. You know what I do when I have too many tabs open? Boop. What if there was something important there? Well, it's not there anymore. Anyways, all this to say about AI music videos, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of y'all pretending. Like this stuff sounds good. Here's the thing, like saying, oh, it sounds like music and it's recognizable to us as music. I don't think that's a bad argument, but I just think this idea that like we're going to replace singers because we're all going to be okay with hearing this like tinny, nasty sort of, it all has this weird edge to it. Until y'all figure out how to make that go away, no one's actually going to be down with this. But I want to show y'all this article, AI songwriting in the country music industry, because it's getting crazy, y'all. I think this article might have been from The Verge, if I remember correctly. News. It was, yeah, okay. The future of music is here. The future of country music is here, and it's AI. So says The Verge. And actually, I could make this a whole video later at some point if I have time to put more thought into it, right? But listen. Oh. No, I don't want to continue reading with a Verge subscription. I don't want to. Hold on. There's audio clips in this that I need to be able to play. Why do I have to subscribe to everything? Everything. At one point, I'm going to just take a breath and it's going to be like, oh, hold on. Continue breathing with an Oxygen subscription, only $5 a month. And I'm going to be like, you know what? Actually, I'll just die. I would rather do that than pay for one more thing that I don't actually feel like I should have to pay for. When they drop the Oxygen subscriptions, I'm not signing up. Oh, I'm not even able to play the audio clips on the archive. This is so lame. Someone said email addresses are currency now. Okay. This is so lame. Boo! All right, you know what I'm going to do? Later, I'm going to find a way of playing those clips for y'all. And when I actually have a little bit more time, I can turn that into a whole thing. Because basically the point I was trying to make was like, people in the country music industry are coming up with song ideas and stuff like that. And then they're having AI generate finished versions of that song. And then they're sending those AI demos off to other artists and being like, yeah, listen to this song, we can sell you. And I'm just like, bro, it's not so much that we have to worry about AI music itself. It's more like it's turning into this weird wibbly wobbly, partially AI, partially human thing that is not even able to be distinguished anymore because so many people are using it in their creative process, which I personally feel like is a form of capitulation, depending on what kind of creative work you're doing. Like, for example, my song, I'm not going to make y'all sit through the whole song again. That was 3 minutes of a song. I didn't need to use AI to generate that. 3 seconds. I didn't need to do it. I used Ableton. I used Splice. And I used this crazy thing called Music Theory. Music Theory is super cool and awesome, actually. I love Music Theory because it's really easy. You can learn music theory by counting to 7. Well, hold on a second. You can learn Western music theory by counting to 7. There are so many different ways of making music, and there's so many different scales of music that are not like my perception of it, right? But based off of music that I'm familiar with, if you can count to 7, you can literally learn how to write any song. I know right now I sound like I'm trying to sell you a YouTube course. You don't have to know how to read music. You don't have to know how to play any instruments. You just have to be able to hear the difference between 1 and 7. You know, that's a really funny thing about music. Like if you think of a song, Mary Had a Little Lamb. I apologize for my singing. It's like Mary had, that had right there is a 1, right? That's the tonic note of your song. And so essentially you can write anything by having a relationship between the tonic note of your song and anything else. The further you get away from that tonic, depending on where you land outside of the pentatonic scale, you're going to be introducing like tension, which may read as a little strange or sometimes, just like off-putting. So balancing tension and release is essentially all you really have to do to write good melodies, right? I'm pretty sure Mary Had a Little Lamb fits almost entirely into the pentatonic scale. And that's only counting to 5. You could write a lot of music by only counting to 5 low key. But I like the two little tones that fall outside of the pentatonic scale, my little half tones. Okay. I do love me a 7th because it is nice, especially going from a 7th to a 1 is really nice. But yeah, music theory is so easy, actually. Someone said you talk fast. I talk fast when I know what I'm talking about. And I know music theory. I don't know a lot of things, but yeah. The way I learned music was I took things that made me feel things emotionally. So, if I'm being honest, the Final Fantasy soundtrack, I don't even know why. I think y'all have all figured out that I was a much bigger nerd than y'all gave me credit for, right? But essentially, I went to this music website called Hook Theory, and I just started looking up any and every song that I had ever liked, which was a lot of songs. Many of them were composed by Masayoshi Hamauzu, the composer for Final Fantasy 13, right? And so what Hook Theory will do is it will show you what is happening from a music theory. What is happening from a music theory perspective, right? So, for example, I know that like the Final Fantasy soundtrack theme, it goes like da na 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 da na 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 na. And so I know that made me feel something, but I didn't know what was actually happening from a musical theory perspective. But if you analyze it in terms of like what is actually, and then you kind of see like that first note right there is a 7th. And then you start analyzing a lot more music and you're like, oh, wow. Anytime they hit that 7th, it makes me feel something. And it's like, oh, wait a second. Hold on. The fact that you are hitting a 7th note on top of this 6th chord, right? This minor tonic, it's giving it this really melancholic feel because that is actually a minor 9th, right? Or it's a minor add 9 because it doesn't have a 7th.
So when I started thinking about like, oh, okay, it's not just that music is magic. It's that like if you hit a minor 9 chord, you're gonna make me think of Final Fantasy, right? It's not like, oh, why does the bass move the way that it does? You know what I mean? If you invert a chord and you kind of step down or up in a sort of chromatic ascension or descension, it's gonna be really easy. Why do people commonly use the same chord progressions across different songs? Because like chord progressions are essentially feelings in a box. It's really fun. And then you start really getting into the nitty gritty of like, how do I make things not sound basic? Personally, I feel like it all lies within your half steps, right? Because the difference between most notes in any given key is going to be more than half a step. But you have 2 sections in your song, if it's using the typical tones, where you're going to have only a half step, like right here. Between that B and C is a half step, right? And similarly, it's only, oh, that's not a half step, sorry. Between E and F is also a half step, right? And so the way I try to write music a lot is like, I alternate between lingering in these really eerie, half-steppy spaces, but then I always try to swing back into things that sound very home, like this one really sustained tonic note right there is going to sound a lot less tense to you than kind of lingering right here underneath it. And it's like, oh, what's happening? What's happening? Oh my gosh, take me back home. Bam, you're back home. But yeah, music theory. Someone said they love minor chords. I love minor chords. I overuse minor chords and I have to force myself to use more major chords, honestly. Some stuff from minor to major. Well, that's the thing, is like, I also feel like it's the 4 chord for me. It's the 4 for me. When you start off a song on chord 4, or you veer into chord 4 after starting off in like a minor space or whatever, it hits. And especially if it's a major 7th chord, right? Because like major 7th chords are so jazzy. Hold on. I'm finna log into the software. and show y'all some stuff right quick. Okay, great. So I don't remember my login. Meaning we're not going to be able to save anything, right? So check this out, right? I'm going to do a really what people call like the 4 chords are essentially going to be like a 1, a 4, a 5, and a 6, right? You can kind of play around with these in any order, but the vast majority of what is commonly thought to be pop music sort of operates within this 4 chord space, right? You definitely, after playing around in this space, oopsie, things like this start feeling a little more tense, right? Because it's like, whoa, what is, yeah, I'm so happy. Whoa, where did we go? And that's why a lot of songs will start off kind of remaining in like the 4 chords, but a sharp veer into the 2 sounds really nice because you're getting really minor, you're kind of getting out of what's expected and stuff like that, right? I don't know why I keep pulling my headphones off as if I have to do this to make points. Where it starts getting really interesting is if your melody, we'll just do like a really simple melody. Okay, so really basic, right? Because this 3rd note right here, it is resting. It is a chord tone. You can find it here as the, I think the 5th or whatever. But like, you kind of went back home and you're not really introducing any tension. If you were to go up instead, did you feel a little bit of a twinge in your soul with that right there? Because that is a major 7th chord. And I think there are very few things on this earth that contain as much feeling in them as a major 7th chord. If I was to just convert this right here into a major 7th chord, it's going to sound really melancholic. Same thing, even if we're in just the tonic right here. And that sounds a little bit sadder, right? So I feel like figuring out how to write melodies over top of your chords. Oh, wait. Was I even on the right screen? I think I was. Figuring out how to write melodies over top of your chords that serve as extensions. You don't even have to do crazy things with your chords. That's the craziest thing. Is like, I feel like a lot of times, like, to pull up an example of a song that has really, 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 really crazy chords. Somebody brought up Rebecca Sugar, and that might be a good example because they use very, very interesting chords in a lot of their music. Actually, I don't know Rebecca's pronouns. Chat, help me out here. She. Okay. So yeah, if I go to like Rebecca Sugar on Hook Theory, which I'm sure they have some of her stuff, I'm sure some of these have crazy chords on them. Okay, here's a great example, right? This stripey chord right here, I guess you could sort of think of that as like a flat seventh. Someone check me if I'm wrong. I think it's a flat seventh. Or a flat two if you're thinking of it in terms of like minor or whatever. It sounds real nice. Oh, this is also a borrowed chord right here because you went from this major 4 to a minor 4, which is another jazzy thing that is not typically done in pop music. So you've kind of got this really nice movement and stuff like that. I love when songs are written that way. However, I feel like before you start getting into that space, what you got to do first is figure out how can you evoke similar feelings with just the chords and tones that are available within your key, right? You don't always have to step outside into the realm of like subdominant chords or like V of V. I mean, it gets real technical the more you start borrowing things from other places, but like you can evoke feelings even with the most basic notes imaginable, as long as you're kind of doing something that makes sense to you audibly and mathematically. And that is why I really love pop music. That's why I won't let anybody sit around and say like, oh, pop music. Yeah, I listen to real music. I listen to, trying to think of something that is commonly considered to be real music, rock music. I listen to metal. Right? Okay, first of all, I promise you all of your favorite metalheads are listening to pop music. I genuinely promise you that. But secondly, it's an equal amount of skill to evoke an emotion by operating within an expected set of parameters as it is by doing things outside of it. Yeah, obviously, if you were doing things that are really brash and amazing and complicated and elevated and stuff like that, it's going to come across that way to people. And I guess it's cool to feel cool because you're listening to cool music and stuff like that. But the reason I can't get down with musical elitism is I think it's equally impressive to operate in a pop space and see how many different emotions can you mine from that. How many different ways can you get something stuck in someone's head? How many different takes can you do on the idea of love? How many different ways can you make love sound like a chord progression? I feel like music has like this endlessness to it that pop music kind of reads as an exploration of the fact that we can never actually run out of ways to write a generic love song. Says a lot about music, our perception of music and love as well. So it's like, even though I could sit here all day and we could actually start getting into the nitty gritty and I could be like, well, actually Masashi Hamauzu was inspired by like these jazz artists and Rebecca Sugar, who also takes from like this really cool jazz and or theater adjacent things. That doesn't change the fact that I personally believe Masashi Hamauzu has a great ear for pop. You can hear that in some of his melodies. Rebecca Sugar has a great ear for pop music. And I feel like pop music theory is such a good baseline for anything you're trying to do, no matter how far away you get from it. You could be out here making atonal, dubstep, and I still think you should probably know how to write, at most, a mid pop song, because it ain't as easy as it seems. That's my opinion on musical elitism, though. As somebody who has music taste that can be considered really abrasive and annoying. Have y'all ever heard of Injury Reserve? Here, I'll show y'all some of the songs that I like. Before I go. Just so you know, me pulling up a song and saying that I like it isn't actually me saying or supporting the band or whatever. I don't know. I'm just letting y'all know these are some things that I've heard that I've played, and I'm like, oh yeah, that sounds like music to me. So like, you could take a pop song and mess it up so bad that it starts coming across like this. That's silent. I don't hear nothing. Oh, there we go. I can't sit here and play Injury Reserve the entire stream, right? Obviously, there's songs like Lost by Crimes, which I think is really fun. I think my favorite thing somebody can do, essentially, is take a song and then stretch it out of proportion into something that is barely recognizable as a song. This is such a good song. But like, a lot of the stuff I listen to does kind of just come across to people as like wailing or screaming or like digital noise and stuff. I am the guy telling you not to be elitist about pop music because pop music producers are still doing really interesting things, even if largely I listen to things that I consider to be a little beyond the pale of your average pop music producer. Someone says it's hard. Bro, Lost by Crimes goes hard. Injury Reserve goes hard, honestly. Someone said, have you heard Crank by Slater? I think the majority of songs I've heard from Slater. Someone said, what did I just stumble into? Me revealing that my taste in music is, by all standards, pretty bad in the average person's perception, but I love it. Someone says it's not for me, but I get why you can enjoy it. Yes, exactly. That and the fact that I also need things to be somewhat unrecognizable or I can't focus. I think if music sounds too much like music, then all I can think about is the fact that it's music and like, oh, I'm listening to music right now. And it doesn't work for me. I always need there to be some element of like, wow, is this even music? And then I'm like, yeah. What are some songs you hate? Ordinary by Alex Warren. Is that mean? I feel like I shouldn't have answered that question. I feel like I actually just walked into a trap. I don't hate Ordinary by Alex Warren per se. I've heard it too many times. I've heard it too many times. I've heard it so many times. And when the choir comes in, I'm like, now, why are we still here? What are we doing here, Alex? But like, I shouldn't say that because hate is a really, 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 really strong word. And I don't hate Alex Warren by any means. I just don't. I don't like that song, bro. Ordinary. No, please stop. Oh, wait. Okay. Hold on. I'll end the stream with this. There is a style of singing that I feel like some guys do that I cannot get behind, even if I think in general that person is pretty talented. And I am not calling out one person. Benson Boone does this. Alex Warren kind of gets into that territory a little bit. Louis Capaldi, even though I think he writes really beautiful and heartfelt songs, also kind of gets into this. There's a point sometimes where I feel like guys are just on their songs screaming. And even though I just sat here and told you, oh, I like songs where people are screaming and wailing and stuff, I find that sort of beautiful things, it sounds like pterodactyl noises. I always get taken out of a song when I feel like the singer, the vocalist, has veered into pterodactyl noises. But for me, of all people, to say that is cap. Because I was just playing music for you that actually sounds like pots and pans. And so if that doesn't prove that no matter how open-minded we try to be, we are still a little bit elitist about certain things, I don't know what does. Someone said they sing like they're ripping out their vocal cords. Literally. Like, bro, lower the key a little bit. Bring it down an octave. You sound like you're dying. Anyways, bye everybody. Bye. See y'all later. This is a really, really, really great stream. Some of y'all are confused because they're like, why is he leaving? It always ends at 4. Come back in 2 days and we'll talk about more fun.